Hello, and welcome to FixTheChat.com, featuring Ian and Kyle, who play Versus System.
Incorrectly.
Kyle, your food is way on stream today. Is that what you're intended?
Yeah. Well, it's a nice framing, don't you think? It's like slightly off, like slightly cropped, but not accidentally cropped. We also have two forks. Along with those two forks, we have two tacos. Surprisingly, there's no relation between the forks and the tacos. The fact that their numbers are the same is merely a coincidence.
Fascinating stuff. I'm really glad you spent our streamers' time, and by streamers I mean viewers, whom I call streamers.
And by viewers and streamers, you mean nobody.
Well, maybe not.
Well, only for now. People show up sometimes.
Well, that's interesting.
Go on.
Twitch says we're unable to connect to the chat.
Huh.
I wonder if we're not live. It also shows that we're not streaming.
Does say offline. Might be fixthestream.com tonight.
Fixthestream.com. So it looks like we got internet. Maybe I'll just refresh the web page and we'll see the result. There we go. We're there. All right. So we're live. Hey, 2 minutes later, I guess. Whatever.
I'm doing something weird.
Oh, now it's thinking.
Well, it's recording.
We were having issues last week that Casey was talking about.
Yeah.
I hope we are not having similar issues this week. What's wrong with your internet, Kyle?
Well, you got me.
Anyway, nobody's in our chat to tell us that it's
Terrible.
working or not working, so I guess we're just going to have to guess.
And I guess that everything is working great.
Okay. So anyway, we usually kick our streams lately. Wolf. For dogs.
One.
Usually kick off our streams lately by talking a little bit about board games and video games and stuff we did during the week. So we can do that now. Kyle indicated he might want to talk a little bit about E3. I don't think we have any board game stuff to talk about. I said last week that I was going to play a new game with some coworkers this week, and that didn't wind up happening. I do have some video game stuff to talk about, but it would necessitate Chris being here. Chris said he would join us tonight, but I don't see him here yet. So we might have to wait until he says something in the chat. But we can talk about E3 in the meantime. What do you want to say?
Well, I actually found...
Oh, there's Casey.
Hi, Casey.
So we're half here. Casey's probably going to go get Chris.
That seems likely. Just to talk about E3 a little bit, I tend to be a big fan of Sony's stuff. I felt like they've had some really good presentations the past
pretty
few
graphics.
years.
Kyle's a fan of pretty graphics.
Yep. And only Sony can do that. So this particular E3, thank you, dear. I was really pretty underwhelmed by Sony's presser. They showed footage from a bunch of stuff I expected, and I like knowing that they didn't can the next God of War, but we all knew they weren't going to can the next God of War. And a lot of the gameplay examples they had were...
So you're bitching out Sony is what we're doing.
Well, that's phase one. You're familiar with that. We'll move to the new territory in a moment. I thought Microsoft did a better job, and but generally was also kind of so. So Mario, did you watch the Mario trailer?
Yeah.
So Mario is like 90% cool Mario and 10% why are we in the real world with Mario in tanks and humanoid-looking humans? It was the scariest trailer of all of E3, and I watched some of the horror trailers.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, this is the perspective of somebody who didn't watch the previous trailers, which were released months ago, for this new Mario game. I would bet.
It seems accurate.
So a lot of us have time to acclimate to it. No, it's weird. I agree. It's weird. People seem to be excited for it. I'm kind of on the fence. I guess I need something to play on my Switch, so maybe I'll check it out. I think I would have liked to have played ARMS, but people keep comparing it to Punch-Out, and I love Punch-Out. Punch is an amazing series of games, but it's very multiplayer focused, and things I read and view make it seem like there's not a really robust single-player experience there. No. So I don't know if that's something for me.
Yeah, it's sort of...
Casey knows how tall Mario is.
That's very strange. To my surprise, there were some trailers I was impressed by. Anthem kind of looked like what I wanted Destiny to be, which is to say, better loot system, more open environments.
Can I confess that when they showed Anthem, I thought they were showing Destiny
2.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's totally Destiny. It's almost scary how Destiny is.
Somebody cleared that up for me later.
Yeah. No, it's like, oh, Anthem's the name for Destiny 2. No. And they also had footage for Destiny 2, which looked exactly like Destiny and therefore was utterly uninteresting. Yeah. So the remaining thing that I actually wanted to talk about, there was a little trailer that snuck out for a game called The Hunt. And The Hunt is attempting yet again one of what I think is one of the most game design's interesting challenges. It's a very interesting problem to solve. They're trying to do a game that is PvPvE. That is to say, there's an environment. In the environment, there are teams. I'm not sure how many teams. I only watched one, 10-minute sort of gameplay clip of it. And I think it's 4 teams. So you go in, and the teams, I believe, were all teams of 2. So you have 8 people in this map. It is a very large map. And it's all dark and gothic and horror-y. I would liken its visual style to a Bloodborne kind of era. So there are firearms, but it's like flintlocks and so forth. And the goal of the game is for your team to locate a bounty in the map, which is a boss creature in this gothic horror environment. Kill it, claim some soul from it, and then get that soul out of the map without getting killed by the other team members. But all team members have the same goal of hunting the same boss. And the map is so big that there are separate encounter sections and clues around this map. So everyone is simultaneously trying to solve the location of where the boss is, get to the boss, kill it, and get out without being killed. Now that in and of itself is kind of interesting to me because there's mobs everywhere in this environment, like zombies and creatures, again, of this similar theme. But what was particularly fascinating to me about this is just
hey, Chris is here.
Welcome, Chris. This sort of unusual blend of sort of stealthy gameplay, because you don't want to give away your position to the other hunters in the map, because then they'll come to kill you, or engage in conflict. But you also have to contend with the mobs around the map. So you can do things like bait the mobs with a flare, but other teams will be able to see the flare and know where you are. And again, the map's very large, it's very almost open-worldy. And the boss itself looked like a real boss, like it was a scary, intense fight that you're doing as you're being afraid of getting attacked by another team.
I wish this trailer didn't go under my radar because you have lots of tacos to eat.
That's true. Well, here's the last bit. There is some aspect, I'm not totally clear on this, of permadeath in the game. So you pick the gear that you bring into the encounter before you're in the encounter. So there's like a prep phase. But you can die and other players can steal your gear. So it's like cutthroat multiplayer PvPvE roguelike. But there's some element of persistence that I'm not totally clear on. So it's just this weird amalgamation, but it looked very interesting. And I don't know if it's going to be good, but it looked interesting and it looked somewhat original, and I appreciated that. In a E3 where there were actually trailers for games that you thought were other games, everything was so homogenous. To see something that was like, okay, that's an interesting, unique idea. I thought that was cool.
Well, that's cool. I'll have to check it out. You should link it to me.
I can do so.
Chris, it's okay if you don't stick around with us too much. I do want to talk to you about one of the things we discussed on your stream last night was making some suggestions as to what you might stream after you finish Final Fantasy IX. Chris is streaming Final Fantasy IX on Thursdays, and we understand that he's close to done. Probably a stream or two, maybe a little more than that. I'm not sure. So we were making suggestions on the stream, and I went home and I said, look, I'll go look at my wall of games and see if there's some cool stuff on there that I can make as further suggestions. And of course, made a list that's way too big. So I want to talk with you about that at least, Chris. But let me talk a little bit more about E3. I agree with you. My impressions were it was very kind of disappointing. I don't think much came out of it, maybe even anything that I'm really excited or looking forward to. I did kind of think, you mentioned Bloodborne, I kind of thought we were going to hear about another Bloodborne, and that did not happen.
Yep.
Sony's presser, as you said, was very disappointing. It's a lot of emphasis on VR, which I think is a misstep from an E3 perspective because VR is such a small portion of their market. Admittedly, they have the largest VR device market at the moment, but it's still,
pretty tiny.
What, 10% of their market? I guess. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I think they only devoted. It was like 10 to 12 minutes. On
yeah, but it was the middle of their presser, and it kind of broke up the rhythm. I thought
it did. It did. I agree.
A lot of what do you call it? Narrative sort of action games for them, which is what they're known for. But I prefer my games to have a lot more gameplay than some of these games do. Microsoft, I didn't actually watch their presser. I did read a lot of it after the fact. I'm not a Microsoft fan. Neither is Kyle. We're not really big.
Because we're graphics
Microsoft. Well, I'm not a graphics whore. You said I'm a gameplay whore. I thought I made that clear. Yeah, the Metroid games are great, Chris. I'll talk about those in a second. Or the one Metroid game is worth talking about, and the other one is a splash screen.
The 2 words and a number. But grammatically delivered.
But I think Microsoft's Xbox One X is kind of a misstep, and somebody needs to be doing this in this space, but gamers don't have 4K televisions, and that's really all that it provides is the 4K experience on a console at a premium price. And I think that's the misstep. I think having a console entry at the premium price is probably a mistake, and they maybe should have just waited 2 years and had it, this is our replacement Xbox model in 2 years' time when the components were cheaper and whatnot.
Now, I have to quickly interject and ask how you feel about the PlayStation side of that, because they released last fall, I believe, the PlayStation 4 Pro, was it?
Yeah, nobody gave a crap, and they will continue to not give a crap. Mid-generation console upgrades don't ever succeed. Not even Nintendo, who is the most successful in that space, really sells a lot of mid-generation upgrades.
Right.
I don't know why everybody decided to try it this generation.
Yep. It's the hip thing.
But here's the counter argument, and I think it's a really good one. And I can't take credit for this. I read this in an article. But the counter argument for the Xbox One X, it's hard to say because they have the Xbox One S too, which just muddles the thing, muddles the terminology. But the counter argument for the Xbox One X is for the price of the Xbox One X, you can buy both an Xbox One S and a PlayStation 4 Slim. So why would you buy one console with 4K capabilities when you can buy 2 consoles that are going to have game support for the next 4 years, probably more?
Yeah, to be fair, Casey's pointing out the technophiles would certainly appeal. It would certainly appeal there, and I do agree. But that's I think that's still ultimately such a small set of the market. There's always this juggling act between early adopters and people who are just collectors or novelty collectors.
Yeah. There's some now. I think 4K is going to be a thing.
It's just we're not there yet.
I think massive adoption is years out yet.
No.
I mean, 4K is going to be what happens when people who just upgraded to HD TVs, which some people have done in the last few years only, when they replace those TVs. Right. And a TV's lifespan is probably 10 years, would you say? 10, So, and a lot of people adopted HD before that, but I'm just saying, it's a ways out yet.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see. To be fair, Sony did
Chris is rooting against 4K.
Yeah. One of the things that I will call is I think Sony did more of what you said would be the right way to do things, which is there's PS4 is not released. The Pro, I don't recall being a premium. I think that's what the old original price point of the 4 was.
It might be $50 more, but it's not much more if it is.
No.
It's not $150 more.
Right. It's either no premium or much less of a premium. So they at least a little bit adhered to the idea of this is the replacement model.
Right.
If you want top of the line and the entry level.
And the original version did get cheaper. That's probably the important one.
Right.
And Casey mentioned Darksiders, which is kind of an interesting announcement. I have not ever played it, but I've always wanted to. And I think I had a copy of the original Darksiders, but when they announced the new Darksiders, I got excited enough that I bought both of the PS4 versions of Darksiders 1 and 2.
The game you never played.
Yeah, the game I never played. But in my defense, they were physical copies and they were $20 each, so why the heck not?
There you go.
And of course, Chris mentioned Metroid, and I'm kind of excited for...
Mixed feelings.
I feel mixed. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for Metroid Return... Samus Returns is the name of it. Return of Samus was the name of Metroid 2. This one is technically a remake of, or a reimagining more accurately, of Metroid 2, and it's called Samus Returns, just to further, again, muddling titles. That seems to be the theme of this E3, right? Muddled titles. But it does look kind of good. It looks like there's some interesting gameplay. It's by Mercury Steam, and Mercury Steam, for those of you who don't know, is the developer that acquired the Castlevania license. They didn't acquire the license. Konami, they made Castlevania projects with Konami, and they were the modern Castlevanias, and not very true to the originals, I feel. I feel like they did not a very good job of making Castlevania games with the Castlevania license. And they kind of, they reimagined all the characters and changed all the story around, and it was just kind of weird and awkward. And they actually also made a 2D Castlevania game for the 3DS, Metroid Prime Return of... I keep calling it Prime. It's not Prime. Metroid Return of Samus, or whatever the frick the new game is called, is a 3DS game that's 3D graphics and 2D gameplay. And they did this for Castlevania as well. The problem is, historically, Castlevania games, at least the modern Castlevania games, which are Metroidvania games, have an emphasis on exploration and have combat, but the combat is not designed to get into the way of exploration. It's really punchy, really zippy, in and out combat. And it's not easy combat, but it's responsive combat. And what they did with the 3DS Castlevania game, which it kind of looks like they're doing with the Metroid Prime game, and I'll reserve judgment, is they made combat really complex and slow-paced. And that's not what you want in a game that's about exploration, which traditionally Metroids are as well. So we'll see how that's balanced.
It'll be interesting to see. For sure.
All right, so I think that settles our E3 coverage, right? I'm going to get up. I have a big list here of games that Chris should stream. You ready for this, Chris? Pardon me for making so many suggestions.
I'm sorry, I have to ask, is that multiple pages you're opening?
It's 2 pages. One of them is my deck list.
Okay.
It's 2 pages. I thought it was going to be 1 page, and when I printed it, it wound up being 2. So it's probably about a page worth of content.
Oh boy.
In 2 pages. So games Chris should stream, broken up by category. The first category is, of course, my favorite series that Chris should stream because they're my favorite series and he likes me, right? And some of these are reiterating what we talked about on yesterday. Castlevania. Isn't that a good series?
Yeah. I've heard
you
it's a winner.
could stream anything in Castlevania. It would probably be entertaining to watch.
Especially those Mercury Steam installments.
Probably not those, but you know what? I'd watch it.
Then you wouldn't have to play them through.
I would love to watch Chris bitch about those games on stream because they're not very good.
See, there you go. There you go.
All right, I should be fair. As Kyle pointed out, I think it was recently, within the last stream or two, I have not played the second one in that series. I did play the first one, and it was bad. I didn't play it all the way through. I played several hours, and it was bad enough that I stopped playing. And on principle, I didn't buy the second one for a very long time, and eventually acquiesced. I think it was cheap in a Steam sale or something.
And you got it also because of principle.
I own all of the other Castlevanias, so I may as well buy this. So yeah, Castlevania is a good suggestion. Dragon Quest. We talked about you playing Dragon Quest before. You probably shouldn't do it immediately after Final Fantasy because I feel like you want to kind of get away from a meaty RPG. But they're fun games that I like and I want you to play. Mega Man Legends would probably be a fantastic option because you could probably finish one in, I don't know, 10 or 15 hours, which is a good medium-length stream game after this, and they're not RPG elements or anything like that. Uh-oh. Casey's laughing. So those are my favorite games that I want to suggest. The next categories are games that I bought Chris that he hasn't finished.
Ooh, I like that there's a category for this.
Of course, and those are just Manakemia and Phantom Brave, and I think I suggested Manakemia the other day. And again, both of those are kind of lengthy RPGs, so maybe not ideal for your Fallout stream.
But maybe.
And I said, Chris, I talked to Chris a little today. This is long. I'm going to email it to you afterwards, but I wanted to bring it up on stream because it's fun to talk about. Games that I have worked on that you could play.
Oh, yeah.
These are alphabetical order, by the way. No preference to the order. Death Jr. Well, that's weird. Chris, you worked on that game, too.
Wait a minute. Alphabetical order. I mean, you should have started with 1942 Joint Strike.
Okay, that's true. You could technically play that. Doki Doki Universe is a quirky game that nobody knows anything about. The Mega Man Legacy Collection we suggested yesterday. Sly Cooper, also. Yeah, he's got... Well, you got halfway through Manakemia, too. Halfway seems to where you get. If you're on the stream, maybe you'll finish it.
Peer pressure, man. Peer pressure.
Probably the bad category. These are the long-form RPGs that you shouldn't follow Final Fantasy IX with. But maybe you should stream someday. Earthbound? That's a good one. The Guided Fate Paradox is actually mechanically a spiritual successor to ZHP, Unlosing Ranger versus Dark Death Evil Man. I think that was the title, which I remember you liked. That was kind of a cool game. The Mario RPG series. Any of those in there are pretty great. Ogre Battle? I don't know. That might be fun. The Soul Blazer series. Of course, none of the games after the first one are called Soul Blazer, but that's a fun, interesting RPG that not a lot of people know very well. And Vagrant Story. That's one we've talked about before. Now we get to the useful category.
Useful.
Action-y games you could probably complete in a single stream.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Blaster Master, Bionic Commando, Blood Cells, although I've been threatening to stream that one myself. Contra. Anything in the Contra series would be really good. Flipnik. I put on here because it's the weirdest freaking game that any of us have ever seen.
Oh,
and that
Flipnik!
Would be funny to
Oh
put
my
on a
god,
stream.
I remember Flipnik. I remember Flipnik.
The Gargoyles Quest series, another kind of obscure action game that are pretty solid. The Goemon series. Any of the Gradius games.
I'm a little surprised, by the way, that this section also did not start with 1942 Joint Strike.
I think Kyle wants you to stream 1942 Joint Strike.
Which, by the way, sorry, a bit of context, that is the first game I ever worked on professionally.
It also might be the last game that all of us worked on together. Is that right?
Did you work on 42, Chris?
He did, at least briefly.
I mean, nobody worked on that game for a long period of time because we shipped it in like a day.
Yeah. Mega Man, we talked about. That also falls under Mega Man Legacy Collection. But there's lots of games in those. I mean, there's literally like 50 Mega Man games, so you could pick any one.
Yeah, any Mega Man game.
Metroid, also a good choice. Especially Super Metroid. That's always fun to watch.
Unless you're watching me play it. At which point it becomes very, very tedious and painful.
Sometimes. Mischief Makers, it's a good one. Ninja Gaiden, really hard old school action RPG. That'd be fun. The Punch-Out series.
Oh, man.
River City Ransom. Anything in the R-Type series. Rygar. Anything in the Strider series. Why not Star Tropics? That's technically a series, but you probably could stop after the first one. Silhouette Mirage is an interesting action game. And Wizards and Warriors is also a pretty good series. Next category. Action-y games that would probably take several streams. 3D Dot Game Heroes was a good one.
Ooh.
Blast Corps? I love that game.
That was 64, right?
It was an N64 game. Some of these he would have difficulty streaming, but, you know, something to think about anyway.
Yeah. Well, Chris likes to rise to a technical challenge.
That's true. That's very true. Oh, you did play on stream. All right, well, there you go. Well, there's at least one other game in that series that's easy to stream. I had to think for a second.
Counting is hard.
Catherine is an interesting puzzle game with a lot of personality that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Dark Souls? You never finished Dark Souls 3.
Oh, that wasn't a suggestion. That was a challenge.
Of course, if you did, you'd have to beat the Nameless King before Kyle does.
That was a challenge.
EVO, good Super Nintendo action-y RPG with some interesting mechanics to it. Crystalis, you talked about streaming that before, I think. The Jumping Flash series. Anything in the Katamari series. anything in the Legend of Zelda series, probably especially Link to the Past, and La Mulana, which I think I mentioned last week. Those are out of order. These are kind of in alphabetical order.
I'm getting uncomfortable with this ordering.
And finally, we talked about rhythm games a little bit, so here's my rhythm game suggestion list. Crypto the Necromancer, Gitaru Man, Parappa the Rapper, and Space Channel 5. So those are Ian's suggestions for Chris's week. And I'll email them to you. Or
That's good.
text them to you or something.
One game you mentioned there conjured to mind an old favorite of mine, which is kind of an odd one. I mean, not as quite as classic as some of the ones you mentioned, but I might be the only person on the planet that absolutely loved the 3D Rygar game on PS2. I loved that game.
You might be the only person on the planet that actually played it.
Also possible. I remember. It's very interesting. Its combat was fairly light, but not entirely superficial, and it did a surprisingly good job at.
This is Ian and Kyle opened the cheesecake incorrectly.
We got there. So one of the things that it did so remarkably is it did a really, really good job at having surprisingly big explorable zones, similar to like a 3D Metroidvania, where you would explore around.
Then you have to make your suggestion.
There you go.
Get into it. You know what it is?
I mean,
Legacy of Kain.
Ooh, there you go. The greatest 3D Metroidvania that ever was.
Well, Soul Reaver was.
Yeah, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver specifically. And Chris, I'm talking about the...
Oh, he's talking about the 3D Rygar.
Yeah, so it was a PlayStation 2 game, which I think was simply called Rygar.
I think that's right. It was remade for something.
Wii. They released it on Wii.
Oh.
And they changed his hair to Saiyan hair, which was stupid, and they did it for no reason. Well, yeah.
So anyway, let's discuss, and I don't expect you to, take all that in consideration. It's just food for thought.
Speaking of food...
Anything on there got you excited, put it in your poll or whatever you're going to do next week.
And, speaking of food, this cheesecake, you may notice at a glance, is an odd color for cheesecake.
I don't know if that's coming through on our stream.
Well, it may not be.
We don't have good color fidelity. I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh, Mark of Cree. Yeah, that was good. I believe Cree was KRI.
No, I've heard of it. I don't
Mark
know
of Cree. So Mark of Cree is actually really good. It's a 6 to 8 hour experience. I remember it not being very long. It's pretty bite-sized. But it had a very unique combat mechanic, which arguably could be considered a loose precursor to the Arkham series with Batman.
Did it have a button you could press and win in any situation?
Well, not quite.
The Be Batman button?
No, I'll tell you the Mark of Cree's combat system. It's pretty interesting. So it's a 3D game, and you could move the right stick, and it would shoot like a beam out, and the beam was just a lock-on mechanic. And and when you locked on to an enemy, if memory serves, the button associated with that enemy would appear over their head. But, so like each of the face buttons was a different enemy you could attack, and you could engage up to 4 enemies at the same time. But the fewer enemies you locked onto, the other buttons became modifiers. So you could lock onto a single enemy and have access to a combo system with a higher degree of power, or you could lock onto many enemies and multi-target and hit enemies in different directions. I think I'm remembering that more or less right. And it was very interesting because you could sort of gauge your approach.
While I choke on my cheesecake here.
It was also notable for being very, very reminiscent of Disney animation. Even in motion, it had a very interesting visual style.
What era was this?
This would have been PlayStation... Was it 1 or 2, Casey? Maybe you'll remember. It was either early gen PS2 or actually PS1. But what was so fascinating...
I don't buy that it looked like a Disney animation then.
It was really impressive, and it was done by ex-Disney people.
Huh.
But it was ultra-violent and R-rated.
Huh.
So it was this really weird... I shouldn't say ultra-violent. That's not fair. That makes it sound... It was a violent game. It was an M game, if I remember. So it was just a really interesting combat system, and it was a linear experience. But again, 6 to 8 hour experience that was... and it's probably So depending on your stream length, you could probably pull that off in 3 streams pretty comfortably. If you got like a 3-hour stream, you do it for 2.5 streams. That maths out in my head better. But yeah, it's very interesting. So I think that's a good suggestion. I never played the sequel, however. There was a second.
Kree Harder.
Kree Harder.
Shall we play some versus system?
Only if we played it correctly.
Okay.
A taro cheesecake is that is good. Did we get to the part where I said it was taro, or did we just comment on its color and how people couldn't see it?
I don't know.
It's taro cheesecake. It's freaking good. I have 3 decks. This is the deck that you have chosen. You have chosen a double A deck. Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah, I feel like Market Kree is a worthy consideration. But yeah, so to what Ian was talking about, I enjoy the 3D Metroidvanias. I would actually, if you want to go a little more classic, you would go Legacy of Kain if you went with that suggestion. And if you wanted to go a little more, I guess, underexposed, I would suggest Rygar. I think Rygar's a really interesting title that was actually kind of ahead of its time. Its combat felt...
My cards are hot from being in my car.
Probably, it's a warm day. For those who are not here, it's kind of a warm day out here today. But yeah, I definitely feel like the combination of exploration, zone unlocks, power-ups, and secrets. I love games with secrets. I feel like every game that provides an even remotely linear or single-player experience needs some amount of cool stuff I can find that other people can miss. Even me. I enjoy that.
For example, I've beaten the Nameless King, and Kyle hasn't.
But I have found the Nameless King. Just not whatever's after the Nameless King. God, curse that stupid Nameless King.
No, we're actually having a heat wave, Casey. We're in our hundreds up here this weekend only. Yep. Just for today and the next couple days. And
I actually am a little lucky. I live in Bay Area, sort of proper, I guess.
Yeah, Kyle's on the water,
so
which helps him a lot.
It does.
And I'm going to be roasting and miserable.
And really miserable. I mean, I think it's supposed to get up to like 90 here, and 90 in like when you're on the water like I am we're going to be terrible where you are, Ian. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you're prepared.
Well, I mean...
as prepared as one can be.
Low hundreds is not as bad as it gets over where I live, so...
Yep, and yep.
But, Casey, to your point, we only do it for a few weeks a year.
Yep. We definitely have the better end of the deal overall, I think, climate-wise.
I shall choose the inner die.
Yes.
I have won that roll.
There you go.
These guys go... I think they go odds. I think that's right.
I am going to mulligan that hand.
Okay. I should keep this. I'll keep it. Should I keep it? Maybe I shouldn't keep it. I'll keep it. Oh my god! Oh my god!
My mulligan warranted a similar reaction. It's going to be a very something. There's going to be something.
Oh my god!
Yep, I feel it.
I fear I must do something very obvious right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Beast.
Beast.
When Beast comes into play, you may discard an Avengers character card. If you do, search your deck for a team-up card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck.
Ha. Let the record reflect, Ian did not search. That's weird. Well, the good news for you is that I do not have a 1-drop. So you
Alright, I'll hit you for 2.
Get me for 2. On a side note, I noticed that people were coming out of the... were coming out of the public market today with their cashew goo. And I do not have a 2-drop. I cannot...
That's terrible.
It's not what I want.
It's terrible. I'm going to hit you for 2.
Okay. Alright, deck, do something real. No. I have no idea how unfortunate this everything is right now. your initiative?
That's true. I'm going to recruit Beetle.
Beetle.
Mach 2.
Mach 2.
Beetle gets +4/+4 while I control 6 or more resources. I will also flip Stormfront 1. When you flip Stormfront 1, choose 2 team affiliations from one character you control. If you chose Thunderbolts and a different affiliation, I will choose Thunderbolts and Avengers. Draw a card. Team them up, long form.
Yep. Man, I was hoping you wouldn't get that team up. I don't have a 3-drop.
What?
Very weird.
Do you need to restart?
I don't know. I mean, you missed 2.
I did, and I might miss 4 as well, so
We'll see.
stick around, but I'm going to hit you for 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. If it doesn't get a little better, we'll call it in a turn or 2, but let's see what we get. This is comical. It is my initiative?
Yep.
I do have random. Put him in my back row. Random has reservist. He has activate. Exhaust target character. Use only if an opponent controls a stunned character.
Interesting.
Indeed. He's also got stats, which is nice.
Cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
I will recruit Captain America. Captain America is a leader. Characters adjacent to Captain America have the Avengers affiliation, and team attackers adjacent to Captain America get +1 attack.
+1 attack. What? Yeah. I'm gonna attack someone, and I'm gonna do it with random.
I figured you'd do that too.
Yeah.
That seems like a good play.
I think I got this figured. Team attackers adjacent get +2 attack.
+1 attack.
+1 attack. Then the choice is that I must hit. That's not actually oddly not obvious because I'm still down enough on the character front that I seriously need to evaluate how I gamble here.
Chris, if I can make a suggestion that might help with your situation for the evening, I assume you have a fan. This relies on you having a fan.
I'll attack Beetle.
If you put a bucket of ice in front of your fan, it will keep you cool like an air conditioner would for about 2 or 3 hours.
That's good.
Which one are you attacking?
I will attack Beetle.
All right. I'll just go ahead and reinforce him.
Sure.
I'll take 3.
Sure. Fair enough. More importantly, I didn't take another 7 damage.
Then I'm going to give him a new identity.
Oh, no.
Choose a Thunderbolts character you control. Ongoing at the start of the recovery phase, put a 1/1 counter on the chosen character.
Well, that's generally annoying. Right. New identity. Yes, indeed. And now it is your initiative. That's
now,
not a thing I want.
It's my initiative.
How much does Beetle get? 3/3?
He gets 4/4 when I have 6 or more.
Boy.
He's going to be big.
He's going to be real big.
Are you conceding?
No. I mean, it's your initiative. Let's see what you got.
I've got Hawkeye. Hawkeye's
Bad.
leader power is...
Real bad.
Characters adjacent to Hawkeye can't be stunned while attacking a character with greater cost.
Attacking a character with greater cost. That's your initiative. Boy, that is not good. Not good. Not good. Beetle's attack right now is 6.
Unless he team attacks.
Unless he team attacks. How do I do this? And not get face maimed. Well, I'll recruit this character, and he will have to do that. The question is, do you have that? And it's likely. I guess that's the safer play. Recruit Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister says opposing characters lose and can't have powers and keywords while in combat with him.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Mr. Sinister is one of very few characters that can affect Beetle's stats in real time.
That is true. On next turn.
Next turn. So I will not mark Beetle's 4/4 with counters then. Because it will just confuse the issue.
You could still mark it. Use like a separate die. But, at your discretion. We'll remember. It's such a standout-ish interaction, I don't think we'll forget.
Well, I think that my play is for Beetle to attack random.
Yeah, I thought you might do that.
And I'm going to play Justice Like Lightning to exhaust Mr. Sinister and give him +2 attack.
Alright. Yeah, I was afraid of that play. That very play. Yeah, that'll work. Do nothing about it. So you don't deal any breakthrough.
Why don't I deal breakthrough?
Your attack was 8, correct?
Yeah.
My
defense is 8? Oh, goodness.
Actually, I do have a power up. I'll make you do something else.
I have a combat maneuvers, which is worth +1/+1.
That'll work. Alright, so I do take 4. And I was pass.
I think I'll team attack Mr. Sinister.
Yep. I'll attempt to deal the damage to Hawkeye. 5.
And Beast will just hang out.
That is true.
But I'll give Beetle another new identity.
Oh, Lord. Why would you do that? It's so awful. He gets those counters when?
Momentarily.
Recovery phase or build phase? Or
while I have 6 or more resources.
Sorry, at
the start of the recovery phase.
You doodle. Big ass beetle.
Big ass beetle.
Big ass beetle. Okay. I'm gonna draw some cards. This card and this card. I'm going to recruit. It's got to be Malice. Malice has, I may discard a Marauders character card and target stunned character can't ready this turn. She also is a 12/13 with flight and range.
Mm-hmm. You just need a character stunned to do terrible things, and I probably can't stop it. Well, I'm going to be recruiting Helmut Zemo. I was deliberating on my formation there. I will continue to deliberate on my formation. Yeah. Helmut Zemo's power is Leader. Characters adjacent to Helmut Zemo have the Thunderbolts affiliation. Characters adjacent to Helmut Zemo get +2/+2 while attacking an exhausted defender. And I think you're going to try to go for Beetle, which makes a lot of sense. He's got his 4 extra counters presently, unless he's in combat with Mr. Sinister. So I probably want to protect him. Boy, this seems pretty weird, but I think I'm going to do something like this. Good old S shape.
Cal? That is a very strange... That's strange.
I mean, I suppose that's functionally the same as this, right?
Yes, I think so.
If that helps you feel better.
Well, it makes me a little more comfortable. See, the S formation was kind of terrifying in all the wrong ways.
Our stream is fritzing out again. I hope we're not interrupted. That would be sad.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is. The internet has... I game online sometimes, and it just decides that it doesn't like you.
Well, we'll see if our viewers are going to complain here in a moment. They haven't said anything in a while.
Yep, that's true. I wonder how long that's been going on. This is a tall order.
Doodly doodly doo.
Do. Well, Malice is going to attack.
Oh, Chris says it's running fine. All right, whatever.
Yep. Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
Yep.
And her powers says what?
Her power says discard a Marauders character card. Target stunned character. Can't ready this turn. Do that as much as I want, and it doesn't require activation, but it costs a discard of a Marauders character card.
So what I will do is... She's a 12...
12, 13.
13. I will accept. So I will take 8.
Indeed. Oh boy, you got something stunned. Maybe I can do some crazy stuff at some juncture.
Yep. I will attack Mr. Sinister with Baron Zemo.
Yeah. That is a thing that you can do. It is true.
Cal's reciting poetry.
Sometimes it's just how I roll.
Itry.
Itry. I am going to play Blinded by the Light. Target Marauder's character you control gets +X attack this attack, where X is the cost of a stunned opposing character.
That's a pretty good play.
Which will make my defense is unchanged. My attack is 14 at the moment, and then I will be stunned.
I think that's going to work.
Yep.
I will take 6.
Yep. And I will take. Sorry, your attack was 12. I'll take 8. Yeesh.
You narrowed the gap quite a bit. I think I'm not
pass.
going to press. I assume you'll be preventing somebody from readying.
I will prevent both.
Oh, you can do both. Interesting.
It does cost me 2 cards to do it.
Interesting.
But, I will. I will also flip up a card that allows me to search for a character if one of yours is stunned.
Okay.
That would have been great many turns ago. Might be that one.
This is going to be an interesting interaction here in a moment as well.
Indeed.
I'm going to recover Hawkeye, but not ready him.
Indeed. He's still useful to you, as we know. Yeah, okay. I will search for Mystique, my 7-drop. Beetle weren't getting so much bigger every turn. That's upsetting. He needs to not do that. Be smaller, Beetle. Engage Mr. Sinister and be smaller.
So So here's the thing that's a little unusual.
Yeah.
And maybe Chris can make a ruling here, and he's really good at that.
Oh, Lord.
I assume you're ready to go for
Yeah, I'm just shuffling. You may proceed.
I'm going to boost Eric Jostin. Eric Jostin has boost X. When Eric Jostin comes into play, he gets +4/+4 for each resource point you paid for X. So I'm going to put 4 counters on him, because he's +4/+4 this turn for that. What happens if Eric Jostin engages Mr. Sinister? Maybe he doesn't get that.
Yes, comes into play. It's +4/+4 this turn for each resource point.
Or is that a continuous effect that's already fired and cannot be undone?
I'm going to read it again out loud. When Eric Jostin comes... boost X. Paid the resource point of 1. When Eric Jostin comes into play, he gets +4/+4 this turn for each resource point you paid on X. Mr. Sinister reads, opposing characters lose and can't have powers and keywords while in combat with Mr. Sinister. Yeah, that's interesting. It doesn't say he gets 4 1/1 counters. It does say for the turn. Boy, that is weird. I'm willing to go with Chris's ruling, but I'm not sure that's overtly black and white. Like, here's a case where it would be black and white. If it said he gets +4/+4 for the turn, then it would clearly not work.
Right.
But the wording is that he has something for the turn. But that something is an effect. I guess it's not a power, it's an effect.
It seems like...
I'm willing to... Yeah, I accept that ruling. I think that's...
I couldn't boost him... Like, if boosting were a thing, I couldn't boost him while in combat with Mr. Sinister. But the boost has already happened.
Right.
And the effect is continuous for the turn.
Right on. So I'm going to draw my 2 cards this turn, which I haven't done. And it's this card and this card. That's cool. We're going to put this card down here. We're going to recruit Mystique. Mystique says whenever a Marauders character you control stuns an opposing character, you may have Mystique gain the printed powers and keywords of that opposing character this turn. She's a 15/17. I need to think about my formation for just a moment to allow me this thought here. Almost certainly do that. Ugh, it's so bad. Is there any advantage to me not forming in that other way? You would do that. That's hateful. How big is Beetle right now? Assuming he is not in combat with Mr. Sinister, how big is Beetle?
He is a 14/12.
Right. 14/12. 14/12. While he is attacking, he cannot be stunned by any of my characters, as long as Hawkeye is unstunned.
True.
Well, that's annoying. Jeez. So what is the play here? He will do... Oh, interesting. Oh. That is very interesting. You have to do that. Do you have to do that? That will be my formation.
Yep.
And a big one. Life totals are close, but your board advantage this turn is going to be very punishing, I think.
I think that given your formation, I think I have to attack Malice with Beetle solo.
Yep. So if nothing else transpires, you will stun her. I will not stun you, which is eminently irritating.
Well, I suppose you can reapply that.
And I'll take a point of breakthrough. Two new identities. Yeah, I think that's just going to work. I will take 7. 15. So I think the correct play here, 2 options. I don't love them. Oh.
I think there's an obvious choice, right?
Yeah, well, maybe. Maybe there is. I mean, the two. I mean, I could pressure your back row, which isn't huge, but I guess I have to do something to address Jostin. Or at least so goes the working theory.
Okay, Chris, I hope you have a good night. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, take care.
I hope you get some sleep and some relief.
Yes. Yes, that is worthy. I actually have a non-obvious choice, which is what's causing me
I don't have any stun characters.
True. That's true. So if I do that, you'll do that, and then I will do that. What does that get me? The hell does that get me? Is that the play I have to make? Is that the only play that gets me through the turn? Oh, but you probably do that. Oh, that's terrible. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that thing? Thing that you could have. Oh. So painful. So painful.
I see lots of plays that get you through the turn. I don't know what you're discussing over there.
Well, here's the thing. Getting me through the turn is ultimately useless because of your powerful board state.
Sure.
So
perhaps.
getting through the turn and also trying to close the board position is riskier, but might also be the only thing that makes for an interesting turn 8. So is there an avenue? I'm going to look at your pile here.
Okay.
As one can do.
That's true. I read that recently. Interestingly, the KO'd pile is both a public zone and an unordered zone. I'd been making big stinks in the past about us keeping our KO'd piles ordered, but they are not ordered.
Indeed. So, we're going to play it risky, because I think I lose on 8 if I don't play it risky.
You do anyway. Sorry, what? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to play a Sewer Rats. Whenever a Marauder's character you control becomes stunned, while attacking this turn, recover it.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to attack Hawkeye with Mr. Sinister.
Interesting. I see what you did there. That's not a bad play. That's a reasonable play.
We'll see what happens. Right now we are stunned.
That's true. I can power up.
I do also have a power-up. I think. Yes, I do.
I put my other power up in my resource room. Well, that'll work.
Close call. So I am stunned and take 5 as well.
Recover.
Now you do have what they call a stunned character.
Are you doing stuff immediately?
I am contemplating. We're going to go with no.
I mean, I think the rest of my turn is obvious. I do just straight up attack Mr. Sinister with Eric Johnston.
Sure. So your attack is 16.
Right.
If I do nothing, I take 6 breakthrough and 5 for the stun, which of course I do not want. So, by the way, she has Hawkeye's powers, which does not matter. I'm going to reinforce, and I'm going to play Deadly Ambush. Like, only if you control a Marauder's defender. Each attacker and defender gets -X defense this attack, where X is its defense. And I am stunned for 5. I'm at 5, and I hope that somehow Captain America and Beast can't get Mystique.
I don't think so.
It'd be a tall order. It'd be a tall
that doesn't
order.
seem like a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to continue to recover Hawkeye.
And it gets to be ready.
And he readies this turn. Johnston's slightly bigger, not a ton.
I guess I lose Mr. Sinister.
Fuck this up.
How big is Beetle going to be this turn?
He is going to be a 16, 14.
Jeez. Yeah. That's true. That is true. Drawing some cards, like this one and this one.
I'm going to stack up my new identities.
Alrighty.
You have initiative. That's going to be so important.
I do.
That's
I
insane.
do have Exodus. Exodus says, whenever a character I control stuns an opposing character, I may recover all characters I control.
Ha! That could be problematic.
We'll see.
I have Thor.
I was afraid of that.
Thor's power is a leader. Each Avengers character adjacent to Thor gets +X attack, where X is that character's cost.
Lord. Can't catch a break. You got every single one. Missed 4. I had a really good draw.
I missed 2 and 4.
Did you miss? Ah, okay. That's true.
I don't well, I mean...
You underdropped 1.
You are in a position where tricks could win you this game. I don't know what kind of tricks you have.
Yeah, it's going to be real rough.
Because I have characters with cool powers, but I can't protect them, and you have initiative, and your powers get much cooler when you stun, for example, my character with cool powers.
Yeah, unfortunately you outstat me by about a mile. You have a 7 drop.
I have a 7, a
That's
6, and a
bigger
5,
than my
just like
7.
yours.
Yeah.
Or I have a...
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have an 8 and a 7 and a 5, and you have an 8 and a 7 and a 6. So
It seems like a reasonable
I got 2
comparison.
little dudes that don't do anything. I'm also going to play another Stormfront 1 for the card.
Yeah. problem is your 6-drop, who is as big as my 7-drop, or I should say, your 7-drop is a 3-drop, and that difference in life actually is consequential. So how do I effing do anything on this turn? What's Thor's power again?
Avengers attackers adjacent to him get plus X attack, where X is their cost. Guess I should probably put it here. Right. It doesn't even matter.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter.
Maybe not.
This is what I should do.
Sure. Oh. I got to think about this for a second. This is in real bad shape. I admit I'd feel a little better if you didn't have a 12 life advantage. But overcoming the 12 life advantage and the character advantage is going to be tough.
I'm not confident. I have to play carefully.
That's true.
But, yeah,
My first play might be stupid. That's a thing. Does it have to be that? It's terrible. That's terrible. That might be it. But all your characters, it's all at all times, it's not just while attacking?
What's going on?
Thor's power.
No, it's just attackers.
Just attackers.
No. It's all times.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Sorry.
Oh, Thor's so good. I felt so good about my 8-drop. He's actually not a good 8-drop. He's one of the worst 8-drops in the game, I think. For 8-drop.
I don't usually get Thor. Like he's not. Usually I'll have wrapped this up by
Yeah,
now.
that's fair. How do I survive? Do I have a play?
Hawkeye's attack is only 16. You have a character that can't counterspell? 2 of them.
Yeah, that's true. The problem is the opening play I need to make is Malice against Hawkeye, and I can't make it because he's plus attack all the time.
You can make it, but you'll be counterspelled.
Right. Maybe that's okay.
And then
That would be weird.
And then your other dude gets her back, right?
The other, I do have one other play, but you have that huge. Why did you have to have the giant life advantage? Probably because I got whammed on earlier.
Whammed on?
Whammed on.
Whamming on him.
Is there any other way that I can make this work? So do that. How many cards are in your hand?
4.
So the alternative is that I find a way to deal you a gazillion points of damage. Ain't gonna be easy because you're gonna be able to deal me. Thor doesn't boost himself.
True.
That it will be a net of that. What would you do in that position? You'd have to do that. If I do that, that's arguably a more advantageous play. Reviewing my options. So funny. I'd have thought that would have gone that way. And then you gotta do that. Maybe that's just better. That's so stupid. It's real stupid. That you'll do that. Can't do squat. Alright. I'll attack Hawkeye. I'll just. I think you got me hands down.
Okay. I think I'm gonna eat that, and I think you're counter stunned.
Yep.
I will take 3 breakthrough for a total of 8.
Now I've stunned someone. I may recover all my characters. I will not. I'm a negative.
That's an interesting power. It's weird.
It's got some potential, but in the circumstance we are in, it is. There's some things that this deck does that it was not able to do, and I don't know, maybe I should have thrown in the towel earlier. I figured if you missed even one later game drop, I'd be able to make it up, and
you almost did.
And I almost did.
Probably should team attack your 8-drop. Yes.
Just to remove the damage. As a reminder, if you stun him, I may recover everyone I control.
Sure.
Yeah, that's probably still a good
that's
play.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a pretty solid play. So that, what is your total attack?
I think it's 26.
Oh, it's huge because of the. Okay. Yes, that will work. I'm going to stun Beetle, and Mystique will gain Beetle's power.
Oh, she doesn't have to be involved in that, so she's bigger. Interesting.
She is +4/+4, but I am at -9.
So maybe it doesn't matter. That's enough to finish me. That's interesting.
I haven't run the math on it. If that proves to be a decisive thing, we can rewind and you can reconsider.
Yeah, I thought she had to. I guess that.
It is whenever a Marauders character you control stuns an opposing character, you may have Mystique gain the printed powers and keywords of that opposing character this turn.
I can't give Mystique. I can't give Mystique Beetle's power. The weird thing is, I think the correction is I team attack Mystique instead.
That is an option. Okay. I think you might have won anyway. Like, again, I didn't run it.
Well, no, you swing through Beast. I'm at more negative than you, and I can't get her with Thor.
With Thor. Oh, interesting. If I ignore Thor. Sure. Yeah, that's true. That would be a pretty big swing.
That is definitely not a win for me.
So, we rewind. You attack Mystique. Your attack is still gigantic. You still have to team attack.
26.
Right. I will still deal the damage to Beetle. That's still the correct play. I will take 7, so I'm at -8 instead of -9.
I don't think it matters. I might be able to save Beetle in that case. I don't think it matters.
So, I mean, my play is probably still hit Beast.
Right.
Is that going to be... I mean, you're going to then swing at Exodus, I guess. I don't think I can get Thor without being counter-stunned. Let me math for a moment. So if I hit Beast and you do not have any stat modifications, I will deal you 19 damage. And not be stunned by Beast, of course. Then... So you will be at -9. 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will attack Exodus.
Right.
Okay. You'll do that with Thor.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happens.
Negative 13.
I will pass.
I attack Exodus with Thor. We have to resolve that.
That's true, because I attack Beast. I do have another Blinded by the Light to attempt to get the counter stun.
It'll probably work. Does that mean you win?
I don't know. I feel like I'll feel like a buffoon if it does, because I felt so... I thought about it for so long, I guess maybe it's warranted. So, what's your attack? Is it as printed?
Yep, it's 20.
So I take 10, and I'm at negative 18. That's simple enough to math. I am stunned. I may recover everybody, which I will.
You won, and I don't think there was anything I could do to stop it.
I think if I make the right choice on that turn, you're right. I had to attack Hawkeye. That was the key. Is seeing that I had to use Malice on Hawkeye was the critical choice. Because if I do basically anything else, I
may have been able to change the outcome by attacking differently, like if I led with Thor rather than
maybe.
the team attack.
I thought about that. So here was the reason it had to be Hawkeye. I wanted to take out Beetle with Malice's opening attack and get her stunned, which I might have been able to do. Maybe not. Your defense was real high, so maybe I couldn't have done that. Maybe I would have done it with Exodus, because what I want to do right out of the gate is I want Mystique to get Beetle's power. That's my number one goal.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
But there's a catch. I knew I had this. And this is more powerful. The bigger cost of a character is stunned on your side, which meant I would not have been able to counter-stun Thor if you attacked Mystique with Thor without hitting something bigger. Or with Exodus. Like there was a risk.
Then you did have me at it any way I played it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's true. What's the
I
other
can show
play?
You. Let's rewind it. Let's back it up as much as we can.
Yeah.
So last attack.
Yeah. I only played one plot twist that whole turn.
13. Your attack was 19 versus this. I was at 6.
Lord, what the hell was I at? I was at 5. Was that 5 or 10? Was that 5? I was at 5.
This puts me at 9. These guys are ready. And we rewind 3 attacks. This is where it went south for me.
Yeah.
And then, so this attack still goes.
Okay. So
right?
From this, yeah.
Because that was,
I do think this was the right first. I think that had to be the first attack.
So I'm at 9. And you're already negative, but not 5.
I am negative 1.
Right.
Because I was at 5. And real quick, sorry, I did rekindle slightly. The reason that had to be the opening attack is because, well, maybe not. That's interesting.
So
never mind. We'll carry on.
Okay, I attack Mystique with Thor.
Yep.
You get the surprise counter stun.
I get the surprise counter stun, and I'm left with Exodus.
8. I'm at 1.
And then
you can't finish me.
Right. Because what happens now? So you attack Mystique. I can't reinforce, so I'm actually going to take...
I'll give you that game because I made the wrong play twice.
So, one of them was definitely a redo. An easy redo. It's like a misread, and we caught it right away. So wait a minute. So I would have taken 10. So I would have been negative 11, and then I'm just left
you can stun
with
anyone,
Exodus.
but I can reinforce everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is if you lead with Thor against Mystique. So the surprise counter stun would not have been enough. Did I have any? I had no defensive boosts. I could get a power-up. I could search for a power-up if that wouldn't have done it. And then, I guess I just wouldn't have had enough because you can just reinforce. That's interesting.
So I misplayed. I don't usually.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And I guess, again, like...
It was one of those situations where I had a lot of cool powers on the table, and in those situations
Don't
it's hard
fully
to
back up yet. I want to finish your thought, but I want to run one more quick scenario.
It's hard to see that the correct choice is not to play any of them.
Right, totally.
I won that game with stats and reinforcement and not
right.
my characters are unstunnable. They have +X attack, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
What do you want to play?
I wanted to just... so what was Beetle's defense was 14. I could not have gotten him with malice. So that... Yeah, so really the reason I have to do that as my opening attack, I do remember, is I can't get my weakness off the table and take out Beetle at the same time. If she could have gotten Beetle, that would have been the right opening play, even under these circumstances. Because then I make her bigger, and she's not a swing through.
Right.
Like you couldn't have led with Thor against.
I have 2 powers up for Beetle.
Oh, yeah. Oh man,
I don't know if it would have made a difference.
That would actually, had I led with my Exodus Beetle, that sure would have made a difference. Would have been. I had 1 power up, but I don't know. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, Exodus rarely sees play, so that it's very interesting. Exodus's power is like he's really just stats. His power is kind of shit. Like free recovery without ready.
What it means is I like his power.
Yeah.
What it means is I never get to swing through. So if you get there with some big characters, that might be enough to it reduces my damage potential a lot.
There are instances where some of my characters might benefit from them remaining unstunned. Like they might just. I do have some characters that are like. Bigger.
He's definitely a bat. Like you don't want to go to that turn with anybody less than what you had on the table.
Right.
But with a 6-drop and above,
I guess it's not terrible.
It's difficult for me to get extra damage.
That's true. It hinders that because everybody's just sitting. And I felt so down. I can't. Well, again, you made a slight misplay, but it was a close game. It was a decent first match with some technical stuff. There was a lot of technical stuff, which was nice.
Yeah, that Beetle situation was weird.
That was a very strange, especially the Beetle Mr. Sinister interaction.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Which right. Which was enjoyable because it affected the way we played, even though the interaction didn't directly occur. I never got that swing.
It's rare that we actually encounter a card combination that we don't know the answer to.
Yeah. Well, and that was a Beetle Growing Man, yeah. Or Mr.
Oh,
Sinister
sorry, that's
Growing
what I was going
Man.
for. Yeah, Mr. Sinister Growing Man.
That's
what I meant. I think I said Beetle.
I like Mr. Sinister because he just messes with stuff. He's just and he's not surprising once he's out there.
Very special guy.
He's a very special guy. Very special little Sinister. So let's make sure that is one of them. And is this the other?
I'm sleepy tonight.
I'm sleepy too. It's also
probably only got 1 more game.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm pretty beat myself, but we got one more.
And talking more on our streams lately, which is okay. I enjoy that.
That's part of the charm. I do think it's part of the charm. So do you have a preference between A or S?
What?
That being the case,
You might.
Yeah. Well, I'm a believer in destiny, so let us. Or perhaps I'm a believer in chance, depending on your semantics. Pick your deck. This one here. That one is the A deck. Was an interesting game. I hope this one is not as technical because I am getting sleepy. But maybe you are too.
I enjoy that part.
Yes, it's good. It feels like progress for some reason. Progress towards infinity. Welcome to life. Anyone who's watching may quote me on that staggering wisdom. Life is progress
towards infinity. Welcome to life.
Yes. Life is only making progress towards infinity. I mean, it can be worded more quotey.
Sure.
But the sentiment is good. It's like a wise thing.
And if anybody wants to quote me, let me recommend this. What are you talking about, Kyle? It's a good one.
It was good. I say that sometimes. Alright. That's shuffled enough.
You said shuffle with an annoying twang as though it were venomous. Shuffle.
Or southern?
Shuffle.
A southern twang?
I shuffled it.
Shuffled that deck.
So it's your roll, because you kicked my butt.
That was close. I don't think we call it a butt kick. It was close. It was a good game. I didn't say anything.
No,
I will go outer. I did win the roll. I went outer against the initial roll for inner run.
Oh
Inner
man,
run.
I want to keep this so bad, but it could be so disastrous.
I'm gonna go odds.
Whoa. I was not prepared for that.
Nope. Aww.
Kyle, I love this card. I love this card, I love this card. I love this card. But if I don't draw something in the next 4 cards, I may as well just throw them in the garbage.
Boy, do I understand.
Am I willing to take that risk?
I'm going to
You're
mulligan.
not.
I'm
Such
real
a good
annoyed.
draw.
Mine was...
Except... Well, I'm gonna gamble.
Gamble on. We're rebels tonight.
Oh God. Oh God.
Will. I went odds. I do have a 1-drop. It is Microchip. Microchip
Helped.
has Activate. Remove Microchip from the game. Turn a face-up plot twist with cost 1 or less you control face down.
Playing KO, this could be bad. I do not have a 1-drop.
Sweet. I'm going to attack you for 1 damage.
I'll take it.
Did it. I dealt
Come on.
1 damage.
Come on.
Come on.
Hey, that's a thing.
Come on.
Whoa. Don't. Just don't.
No promises. I might.
Oh, this is so interesting. I don't even. I have to.
Between the combination of the cards Ian is getting and my it's gradually getting more increasingly insane banter, I'm driving Ian to
Do I need to?
incoherency.
Do I need to not do that? That would be weird.
Do I need to not do that? Maybe you need. Maybe you need.
Who has initiative?
You do. It's you. You have won this turn. The initiative.
I can't deal.
What is going on? Somebody, we need a new Ian. This one's broken.
You can't. Like I can't. It's a thing.
No sentences for me. I get no
No
sentences
words.
from
They should have sent a poet.
you. What you're doing could be interpreted as some avant-garde form of poetry, let me tell you.
Beatboxing over here.
What Ian's
What
doing...
I'm deliberating over, sir, by the way, is which resource I'm going to play.
What's so impressive about this is I have to imagine that this is what I sound like to other people most of the time. So you sound like I probably do. I hope that sits poorly with you.
Oh my god. And then that? I don't know.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I know even less.
No. It has to be this.
I'm with you. Oh, my word.
Okay.
I'm going to need to watch this.
I've played a resource.
Somewhere in this monologue is a new ringtone for me. I'm sure of it.
I'll be recruiting Hasim.
Hasim.
Hasim's power is Activate. Target League of Assassins attacker gets +1 attack this attack for each location you control.
Fancy pantsy. I am going to recruit a van for Microchip. Also,
You're gonna put your war wagon on Microchip?
don't worry about it. It's all part of my master plan. The War Wagon costs 1 less to recruit while I control Marvel Knight's character. I may activate it
On Microchip?
It's fine. It's a great choice. I may KO it, or I may activate to KO target stun character, and its controller gets pinged for its cost. Get a Microchip. That's it.
I'll attack you for 2?
No! How did you know? I don't understand. I'm gonna take 2. I'm gonna recover Microchip and his war wagon. Great plan.
Why are you doing this? Okay. Breathe. It's gonna be that one.
It's gonna
okay.
be my
It's
initiative.
going to be okay.
And I'm going to recruit to my concealed area.
Or is it that one?
Elektra, as an additional cost recruiter, reveal a Marvel Knights character card from your hand. I'll reveal the Black Panther. The movie's coming out next February.
This might not be KO.
And then
Why would you
she's just big and concealed. She's a boost I'm not paying.
So, okay.
Get him, guys.
That's
Stuff.
okay. So then this. It's been a pleasure working with you, sir. I'm going to recruit Ubu, who has loyalty. Characters protected by Ubu can't be attacked. You alright over there?
It's fine. I'm gonna attack Ubu.
Yep. We're gonna be stunned.
That's correct.
I'll take 3.
Okay, Ubu.
I will reveal
What?
that I have a Lazarus Pit, which is not unique. It has 2 powers. I may KO it to recover target stunned League of Assassins character, or I may activate it, and target stunned League of Assassins character cannot be KO'd this turn.
Smooth moves. Can't be recovered or KO'd?
Cannot be KO'd.
Ooh, wow, that's really useful in this context. Crap. Did not foresee that. Aw. My deck's not going to do anything.
Oh, is it?
Well, you just stop the thing that it does.
Maybe. Probably.
Probably. If
Only,
it were recovered...
only once a turn.
Yeah.
Only one character a turn.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. Alright.
Maybe it'll be a quick game. I'm just gonna reveal that I have Sayobo's Garden, which I may use to activate to put a 1/1 counter on target stunned League of Assassins character I control.
Bad. Oh, that's so terrible. Good lord.
That's it.
Right. Well, passing these around. Oh, it's so bad. So bad. It is your initiative.
Yep.
I feel like I always get stuck on this particular matchup. Whenever I play KO, you get to League of Assassins.
I haven't played the League of Assassins in a very long time.
I haven't played these guys in a while.
I think it's this. I'm going to recruit Merlin.
Oh,
Merlin's
no,
power is
I'm
Cosmic
ruined.
Activate. KO target character if its cost is less than the number of locations you control. Use this power only during your attack step.
Huh. Yeah. Yup. Yep. Next game.
The reason I was hemming and hawing is this is the most perfect draw of the League of Assassins I've ever had. I have a resource row full of locations.
Yep.
I have 2 more locations in my hand.
Oh my goodness.
If I wanted them, I had 2 clench viruses.
They're not useful. Nope, that's rough. Perfect draw. That's a hard counter deck to this one.
It can be.
It requires that I have multiple KOs to get any KOs, and all of my stuff is character investment, and all of your stuff is location investment. So if you draw any Lazarus Pits, I have to spend 3 KOs to get a KO. It's bad. I don't think I've ever won this going in that direction. That's okay.
It's a
It's
tough fight.
time for another game. S-Decks. The good news is I will not have to fight them the next time I play my KO deck.
Probably.
It's likely. Given that I have
because
fewer
now I won't
ones.
get to see these guys for 12 decks, and
Well, they
didn't get to do anything.
won so soundly. It's like they won 2 games. So in 3 weeks, just be like, I want another game with League of Assassins. I'll be like, yes, you did. There's 2 defeats.
I wasn't sure what order I wanted my locations in. That was what I was having issues working out. Because I had all the good ones as well. So
Yeah.
I'm going S.
Yes.
I think these are they.
Seems reasonable.
Look at that. We're almost done.
Almost done.
I hope I was doing that on stream. I'm not even sure if I was.
Maybe.
Very satisfying to me, though, so I'd like to show it off.
Ian crossed out another line for those watching and interested. And I say that for those who are watching and interested, and in fact, in the instance that Ian did not cross out on that stream. So we cover all our bases.
You said it either way.
I did say it. It's been said.
Mm-hmm.
Either way.
Don't make weird faces.
It's less stream friendly. But there is some novelty in the stream guessing at the sort of expression I made. And trying to imagine my face.
I wonder if your face has never been on the stream.
It is not. Your face is not
Are you
been
sure?
on stream.
Are you sure?
When our faces have been on stream.
You've been in weird camera shots and angles and stuff.
That's true.
I guess I get to roll this because of my uniform.
Turn 4
That is not,
insta-concede. Oh.
I
No
will
coming
roll
back.
the inner die then. How'd I do? Looks like I won.
We tied. How peculiar.
I will roll the inner die again.
Ooh, pair of 2s that was.
How'd I do?
That time you won.
I won.
Inner die, you said, correct?
Yes. These are an evens deck.
I will keep my hand.
Yeah, this is a reasonable start. I will keep it as well. Huh. It's getting reasonabler.
You went evens?
I went evens.
Pardon me. I do not have a 1-drop.
I've got Anarchy.
Anarchy.
Anarchy is concealed, and whenever Anarchy stuns an exhausted character, that character can't ready this turn. Anarchy will hit you for 2.
Ow. Indeed. Let's draw. It's something.
I've got Natasha Irons Starlight, whom I don't play very often. Natasha Irons Starlight power is Vengeance. Whenever Natasha Irons becomes stunned, target Revenge Squad character in your front row gets +3 attack this turn.
Spicy.
I will also reveal that I have Dimensional Deal to play choose up to 2 team affiliations from one character control. I will choose Revenge Squad and Arkham Inmates. Ongoing, cross over those affiliations, and Revenge Squad's defenders in my front row get +1 attack. I think I had a couple extra S's in there, but that's okay.
I do not have a 2-drop.
Oh my. I will hit you for 4.
Yeah.
Wait, no. I'm going to reveal that I have Battle for Metropolis. Revenge Squad characters in my front row get +1 attack. I'm going to hit you for 6.
One is defenders and one is all the time?
Yep.
Ow. Ow.
I'm just crushing it tonight.
Just the crushing. Just the crushing.
Just the crushing.
Okay, that's interesting. Right. I do have a 3-drop. My 3-drop is Punisher. Punisher's reservist and has pay 1 attack this turn. Target character gets -1 defense this turn. Use only during the combat phase and only if Punisher has not been in combat this turn.
I have Great White. I'm going to be extending my concealed area here a little bit.
Yeah.
Other Arkham Inmates characters I control get +1/+1 while they're not adjacent to any characters.
Yeah, you got a pretty good setup there, I gotta admit. Yeah. That's unfortunate. So all your guys are +1/+1. They're all +1 while defending.
Great White is not +1/+1.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Everybody's +1 while defending, and everybody's +1 all the time.
Jeez. So she is +3
+1 on defense.
If I stun her, one of your concealed
Somebody
characters
else gets +3.
If I don't, you will attack Punisher with her, deal breakthrough, and give somebody else +3. So I'll attack her.
Seems reasonable. It'll work.
I take
I'll
3.
take 2. I'll give the 3 to Anarchy.
Yeah.
He likes to deal damage.
And I take a lot of damage.
I'm going to attack you for that's 5, and this is 6 for a total of 11.
11 damage from a 3-drop and a 1-drop?
Yep.
5. Count 9. Am I missing something?
They're each +1.
Yes.
Anarchy. I think I'm one short. Anarchy's +1/+1.
Yes.
Anarchy's +3.
Oh, right, from that. Gotcha.
I think it's actually 12.
All right, let me humor me. Let's math this one more time. Great White is 5.
Correct. He's easy.
+1 from here, +1 from there. That's 4, and +3 from there. Yeah, that's 12. That's ridiculous. 27 I'm at from your 1, 2, and 3 drop. That's cool.
I'm cool.
All right, that was my initiative. Jeez Louise, I might be dead on turn 5. That'll be a new record.
If you get to turn 5.
I may not. Your initiative.
Yep.
Boy, I'm staggered. You're getting perfect draws over there. Can't beat perfect draws with not perfect draws, it appears. Not today.
I actually have several choices here. I think the way to go, though, is to recruit Livewire.
Yeah, maybe I won't make it. We'll see.
Livewire gets +2 attack while all my characters are in my front row.
Yeah. So I got a concealed character. Let's
Oof.
see. I think you got me on turn 4. So her attack is 6. You punch through Punisher, give somebody +3, who's going to be a hidden character, and then I can get you there. I'm going to lose Punisher. Let's see, that's 7, 9, 10. It's close.
I wouldn't play it to kill you, right? I would do it exactly as you said, and you would attack Livewire.
Yeah.
So I lose the attack to make it lethal.
Yeah.
But you're probably below 10.
Yeah, I'm definitely at like a 40 life disadvantage. Yep. All right, yeah, we can call it. Good night of cards, everyone.
Do you want to play another one?
No, we'll call it. That was 2 3-minute matches. That's a sign.
We're super early though, like super early compared to what we usually do.
I'm pretty ruined. There's 2 ruinous. You had 2.
I have
seemingly perfect
Kyle.
draws, and I.
That was a pretty good draw.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's our 2 most brutal games in a long time back to back, and to be on the receiving end of both is pretty rough.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, it's impressive showing for your decks,
That's
but
true.
so there's some novelty to it.
I feel a little better about that one because that's kind of what it's supposed to do.
Sure. Yeah. Not. Yeah. That's true. I don't know if I've ever seen it quite nail that so effectively, and the combination of that plus the fact that
you missing 1 and 2 was critical.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually don't know that it was that critical. Like, I'm trying to imagine what I can do. 'Cause I guess I could have just stopped Anarchy.
Well,
from
I don't get to swing through, and I lose characters. That's the key. Like, all my characters up to turn 4 were small.
Yeah.
So I have
in
to
one
risk them
direction.
to push them.
I guess I would have lost
to
characters,
press
but
with
maybe you would have lost characters, and I could have
Right.
stalled to later on.
I would have lost Anarchy and or Natasha Irons.
Yeah.
And I still would have dealt you a lot of damage. But
Yeah, I mean it's common to miss one of the first 3 drops, and that has not occurred for you on the last 2 games.
well, I missed one last game.
That is fair. That's
I was-
true. I
was
got
really-
micro chip.
I was very worried because my opening hand was Ubu,
Yeah.
who, as you recall, has loyalty. And I chose not to have any other characters, hoping I would draw into it, and managed to.
Man, I guess it's early, but those were
Yeah.
terrible. Those
You
were
don't get your
so
KO. I
bad.
could play another. I could play my next A deck via your KO deck.
Yeah, the KO deck's done for the night. There, we're retired. I mean, those are awful experiences. So, yeah, total wreck. I think I would. I mean, we've never finished 2 matches in 10 minutes. That was 10 minutes.
That was crazy. That was insane.
The most brutal crushing aired on the stream.
No, I don't. It wasn't 10 minutes, but it was. It was less than 20 probably. The first game went a little bit.
Yeah,
That
maybe it
was
was
super
20.
quick.
Maybe it was 10 minutes apiece. I'm trying to think because I remember looking at the time. Yeah, maybe it was about 18 minutes. But if you don't count shuffling and banter, I'll bet it was 10 minutes. 5-minute games.
That's quite possible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can do something else, but.
Well, if your heart's not in it, don't make me force you.
Well, I'd love to play a second game of Versus tonight.
There you go.
For the
that's
record,
all I'm trying to do.
That deck is the only deck that has a chance against the Outsiders, though you wouldn't know it from that one. I think that's the only deck I have.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know.
Yep.
So you recruit
It's
Punisher
incredible.
and then you lose. I don't know how that
Yep,
beats
yep.
Outsiders.
I actually think that's the best I've ever seen that deck drawn. I mean,
It was pretty solid. Actually, I can draw better. The better draw is either Toy Soldiers or I don't even know if Toy Soldiers in there or more of the ongoing plot twists.
Sure.
And then I have even more
There's
damage.
theoretical better, but
I had
yeah,
characters,
that was.
I had characters in my resource room.
I mean that turn. I mean the life differential would have been 60 points, and you would have won. And again, I guess I missed 1 and 2, and I guess that's the difference. I've had some unfortunate openings, and your decks have not been forgiving. That's a good show. All right. So what's an alternative deck?
I'm sad because I'll never draw like that in a competitive game.
Yep. Well, all card games are prone to the. Sometimes one person gets a great draw and the other person doesn't, and on rare occasion it happens twice in a row. Let's see here. Yeah, I actually think that was too. I see the salt up there. I actually think that was too depressing to be salty. It's a different stage.
Yeah, Kyle's not grumpy. Kyle is defeated.
I'm like disheartened. Let's see if any deck grabs me here. We can do.
Yeah, no, the first game was a little longer because I was hemming and hawing over which order to play my resources in. I think I deliberated for minutes on what resource to play for
true.
turn 2.
That was a hilarious reason. We'll try these guys. I think it's a double A.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a deck not have that. It's funny, I looked at my hand, and I even had some counters to what you had, but they didn't come in until, like, turn 5. And it was way too late.
You would have been alive in turn 5, just not in a good spot.
Freaking. I mean, you dealt me, like, 25 damage with Anarchy. With your 1-drop.
That's because you kept stunning my 2-drop. Whose fault is that?
You! That was your fault! I'm like, I save 3 points of damage if I'm the one that does it. That's craziness. It's actually I'm further amused.
I know, you're having a bad time, but this is entertaining streaming. I think.
Yep, it's true. It's real entertainment.
Not for the good quality cards, but for the absurdity of the cards.
That's very fair. I will say this: I've always felt like that's a tough but beatable deck, and that is the only time I've ever encountered it where
I feel like it's on the bottom end of our S's. Like, it struggles a lot.
Yeah.
It's it's rare that it does that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it needs a certain amount of getting the right stuff, and it admittedly,
and it has no tricks.
Yeah.
Like, if having gigantic characters and hitting you with them is not how to defeat your deck, they're done, because that's all they can do.
Well, and it was made a little worse by the fact that the 4-drop was also concealed, and I'm like, that's real bad. It's not even concealed optional, just concealed. So I was just told SOL. It was kind of a awkward matchup. Though.
Let's see. I think these guys are evens as well, and I will roll the inner deck again. I won just barely, 2-1.
2-1. Neck and neck.
Evens.
Alrighty. Alright, deck. Be not missing 1 and 2.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
I like some of these.
I have to keep.
Maybe I'll keep them. Maybe.
Oh, what is happening?
Okay, it won't be terrible.
I'm sorry, did you go odds
Seldom
or evens?
is. I went evens.
You do have a 1-drop.
What?
Weird. That didn't matter in the second game. It's Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. Kate Bishop has, whenever Kate Bishop stuns a defender while team attacking, reveal any number of character cards from your hand, put them on top of your deck, and stun target character if its cost is equal to that number.
Rallyvengers, I haven't seen them in forever.
Yeah. That's kind of why I felt inspired.
Yeah.
It's like, these guys haven't done anything.
I will not be recruiting anyone, so you'll hit me for 1. Is it 1?
Now I have 90 life, too, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know how I'm going to overcome that. What a tricksy character.
All you gotta do is play Arkham, but you'll be fine.
Okay. That's not exactly what I wanted at this juncture, but okay. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but we'll do it. Yeah, this is definitely not a perfect draw over here.
Yeah, I do empathize. This is not a perfect, it's an okay draw.
I will not be recruiting anything on this turn either.
Well, me as well.
Okay. I'll take another one.
But you'll take another one.
Alright, I feel better.
It's not the same as 20 life on turn 2.
Did I get you for 20?
It was...
Did I get you for 20?
Yes. Yes, but that was strange. I don't know how to behave now. This is a strange situation that I have encountered. I was ready, and then I'm not. So my initiative... I'm going to recruit a Patriot. I guess I'll go...
Bunches of Rally.
Yeah, Patriot is bunches of Rally. He says, leader, whenever an adjacent character stuns an opposing character, rally for a character card.
I am missing something that's important to how this deck plays.
And that'll be my formation.
Since you're likely to just...
Why would anyone have the time to do that, Casey? You're out of control.
What's he doing?
He's demanding the most complicated form of cutting a deck ever.
You should make your cut pulling out every card and then putting them to the bottom. Every other card. No. Nope. We won't be doing that. I guess... Yeah, you're just going to team attack.
That's likely.
It's pretty likely.
Free rally. I like to rally.
So I will recruit then Guillotina.
Guillotina.
Guillotina has, whenever Guillotina causes breakthrough to a player, that player loses an additional 1 endurance for each face-down resource he controls.
Oh no! Actually, do have a choice to make here about how I approach this. Yeah, I think I am going to team attack, yeah. We're going to team attack. Doing it. It's been done.
I guess I'll just... I can go for Patriot. He's
you
at
can.
4?
That is correct. He's a 5-4. Same as your
glare
stats.
over there.
Same as your stats.
Alright, I'll take 3. And
Also
we'll
take
rally.
3. But I do get a rally. 47. So rally for a character card, it is... Patriot. Hey, cool. Successful rally. Can never complain about a successful rally. Always what you want.
Now the assault's going to begin.
Oh, goody.
Because I have to recruit the character you hate, who's not really all that busted.
Oh, that awful character.
Yep.
She's awful.
I'm going to be recruiting Knockout. Knockout gets -1/-1 for each face-up resource an opponent controls. She also has the power return a character you control to its owner's hand. The controller of target's stunned character KOs a face-up resource he controls. If he does, he puts that character face down into his resource row. Use this power only once per turn.
Right. That's fair. That's a thing. Return a character. Any conditions on the character to return to your hand?
Nope.
Just return a character.
Must be a character I control. That's all.
It's reasonable. I'm going to recruit the Human Torch.
It begins.
Human Torch says you may reveal an Avengers or Fantastic Four character card from your hand. If you do, put it on top of your deck.
This is an activate power.
It is an activate power, and target opponent loses endurance equal to its cost. Now that's weird. I might actually want to do that. Huh. Tell me Guillotina's power again.
Guillotina says whenever Guillotino causes breakthrough to a player, that player loses an additional 1 endurance for each face-down resource he controls. Now the question becomes...
Do you take the bait?
What is in my hand? No, that's not the question.
That is a
So
question.
what do you think? So,
It's a good question.
Human Torch is an 8/6.
Correct.
Okay. Guillotina is going to attack the Human Torch.
Okay.
I'm going to reveal that I have Apocalypse, and I may activate Apocalypse and choose a player, and then target Darkseid's elite attacker I control gets +X attack, where X is the number of face-down resources the chosen player controls. Boy, I have a lot of control over it right now if I choose me. I'd like to choose you, though.
Say it again. +X attack where X is equal to the number of face down resources?
Yes. Yep. Why would I do it the other way? Yeah, I'm going to choose me. It's uncommon. I will choose me for +3 attack.
That's fair. That's a fair option. I'm going to activate Human Torch. And you have my 7 drop.
Oh, owie, owie, ow.
But your bonus will work.
I'm going to be stunned as well.
That means I
don't
immediately
reinforce.
Go on.
You will take the pain. Why do you immediately? I thought it said attackers adjacent to him.
When
Any character?
An adjacent. If you want to reconsider, you may.
No, that's fine.
There's nothing
it's still
else
the
been
correct
done. But
thing to do.
Whenever an adjacent character stuns an opposing character.
That's too bad. It's too bad.
It actually does not say you may either. I must do that. Interesting. Well, that does mean
I probably should have chosen you.
yeah, maybe it's interesting. So, let's review. If I choose to attack you,
well, resolve whether you reinforce.
Oh, I do not reinforce. I think I don't.
And you should take damage both from your character being stunned and from the breakthrough.
What was your total attack? Was 8?
Yes.
Okay, so I would take 6 or 4. So let me contemplate that because it does affect. Let me run through the logic here. I'm going to take 6 or 4 damage. We'll attempt not to forget. If I'm going to attack you, all right. I'm not going to reinforce. We'll start with that. Okay, done. Damage taken. Because knockout is a bigger threat either way, whether I attack her or not. If I choose not to attack, I still wouldn't want to reinforce because I want to reinforce when she attacks. Because that's way more damage. So I either attack her or
play invasion plans.
Play invasion.
Lie down with dogs? I don't remember that.
Or laying down with dogs. But if I don't attack, you will... I'll take almost no damage. You'll probably go for Kate Bishop. It's a tougher choice. And you'll... interesting. So you would trade Guillotina for Kate Bishop, maybe. No, you wouldn't have to, because I'd have to lose a character you'd make me choose. That means my only option is to attack. Man, this turn works out so well for you, and I can't do anything about it. That is annoying. Yep. Boy, that sucks. I'm going to team attack. And I'm going to team attack knockout. And I'm going to play losing the argument to draw 2 cards and then put 2 cards from my hand on top of my deck.
Which means I can put 4-drop into your...
Could do it now.
Right.
Should I put my cards... I guess... Is that one of... It's probably one effect, so I should... Well, it says them. I'm going to assume that's one effect. So I should
put one effect. No, you complete your effect.
Right.
The effect is not interrupted.
Right. So I will put on top of my deck this card and this card.
And then I have to choose whether I want to put your annoying 4-drop into your resource room, and I probably do. Is he reservist?
He might be.
He is reservist.
But it's 4 resource points.
Re-recruit your dude? You might. He's
really
a
good,
beast.
and I've shown I have a 7-drop, so it's a possibility.
He's a beast. I mean, you don't have the stun yet, so I could chill.
That's true. I will then play Atlanta's Attacks. Rally for a character card. If your successful target attacker gets X attack, where X is the cost of the character card. I'm going to target... I guess I target afterwards. I wonder if you can interrupt the rally by firing her power. Probably.
It's not how it works.
Well, we established the card flips, and then because we went through something similar.
No, I can't interrupt any effect with this. That's off the table.
Oh, how does it work? Do you have to?
I return a character to my hand. Mm-hmm. You KO a face-up resource you control, and then you put the card. The
it doesn't go on top of my deck.
Yeah,
gotcha.
No, there's nothing.
For some reason, I thought it was going on top of my deck. Okay, so I do that, and I really, of course, it's huge.
So you +7 attack for whom?
Let's select Patriot.
Okay, so your attack is ridiculous.
Oh, actually, I apologize. Let me think for just a second. Okay.
So, you already did Kate Bishop's rally? Oh no, you will do that when you trigger the stun.
Correct.
And Patriot does not himself rally.
Correct.
So, that's going to resolve. Before it does, I will return Guillotine into my hand.
Any preference?
You choose.
I choose.
You choose. You KO a face-up resource you control. Put target stun character into his resource row. Yep. But you're going to get knocked out. I'm going to take 4.
You will stun. I assume the larger character.
I'm going to stun the larger dude. Yep. I'm going to lose the war of attrition here. And I'm going to reveal that I have Mad Harriet in my resource row.
Oh my god.
Whom I may reveal and pay 1 endurance to exchange the position of Mad Harriet and target face-up, non-ongoing plot twist and opponent controls.
Serious business.
Now you could recruit
Mad Harriet and Human
Mad
Torch.
Harriet and Human Torch.
That would be kind of funny. So stun happens, I do rally. It is a character card. Oof.
And that's that.
I guess that worked in my favor, given that it was your initiative, but it barely. It was tough. It was a tough turn. Boy, I got a lot of cards. I've been rallying successfully. That's good for me. Now I must decide. My initiative. Well,
You have so many cards
it's
in your hand.
it's silly. It's real silly. I'm going to recruit Spider-Man. Spider-Man. That's correct. Spider-Man has discard a character card. Target opposing character loses and can't have powers and keywords this turn. Use only once per turn.
Oh. That's bad. Oh. That's bad. Well, the funny thing is, okay, we got one of these funny things again.
We do.
If you target knockout,
Yep.
I can't pop characters to my hand, but her stats are no longer affected by your face-up resources.
Yes, that is true.
And she is a little bit ahead of curve.
She is at that. A fact which has regrettably not escaped my notice.
But I'll be recruiting Darkseid.
Yeah, I thought you might.
And Darkseid's power is whenever Darkseid stuns a character, its controller loses 1 endurance for each face-down resource he controls.
Yeah, that's an option for surezies. For surezies. So I am going to play Liberating number 42. Whenever an Avengers character I control stuns an opposing character this turn,
so much rally.
rally for
So
a character
much
card. And then I'm
rally.
going to team attack.
That's a
knockout.
lot of rally.
For 10.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play The Price of Treason. Target defender you control gets +1 attack this attack for each face-down resource the attacking player controls. If the defender has the Darkseid's Elite affiliation, draw a card. I'm targeting knockout. So you may choose to interrupt that before that resolves, but that is the last thing on our chain.
I will select to not affect that outcome.
So knockout gets +4 attack from Price of Treason.
Yep.
So her attack is 13, and I will attempt to deal the damage to Spider-Man.
I would think. I accept. I will take 5.
And I will take 4, but you will rally like 15 times.
Going to fire Kate Bishop's power.
Uh-oh, what's Kate Bishop's?
Whenever Kate Bishop stuns a defender while team attacking, reveal any number of Avengers, any number of character cards from your hand. Put them on top of your deck and stun target character if its cost is equal
Holy
to that
crap.
number.
That's super good.
I will attempt to stun Darkseid for a
That
cost
is
of 5.
super good.
Can't rally for 5, but I can rally for 4 back because of his power in this. That's why I played this.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's a really good turn of events.
We'll see if I pay for it next turn. It'll be interesting. There is a reason I make that claim.
Yeah, I don't know, like... Ugh. Man, you can keep doing that, and it's so bad.
It's only when she team attacks and stuns a defender. I will not have initiative next turn.
What does this say? Not what I needed to say. Yeah, this is just gonna work. I'll take 5, and then 5 more.
5 more. And I get 4 of my cards back.
I am so very close to dead. This is kind of a pretty significantly one-sided game.
Well, I know what this card is, and I know it's not a 6-drop. So we'll see what happens. That's all I got this turn. Not a 6-drop. Also not a 6-drop. These are some strange cards, though, I'll tell you what. Kind of cool.
It's my initiative, I know.
It is, while you're thinking, I'm actually going to play Losing the Argument. I have one more of these to draw 2 cards, and I put 2 cards from my hand on top of my deck. Interesting. Interesting.
I'll be recruiting Darkseid, and Darkseid's power is whenever Darkseid stuns a character an opponent controls, target character that player controls gets a -1 defense this turn for each face-down resource he controls.
Darkseid does not affect the outcome of the decision I'm making, but the 2 cards I put on top of my deck are these. I don't know what order to put them on top of my deck in. And it's weird. Good power. I do that. I gotta do it. I gotta do it this way, I think.
If you have no 6-drop, you're going to recruit Human Torch and kill me, and that makes me sad.
Question is, do I try it that way even if I did get a 6-drop with Losing the Argument? It comes with a risk, which is that if I do that, I will be able to deal you a lot of damage, but we will have a definitive stat advantage. Probably 2 turns in a row. And Darkseid can hit pretty hard. So is it better to play for my own stats? For opening play will almost certainly be that, which means I have to do that. Okay. All right. What is Darkseid's wording?
Whenever Darkseid stuns a character an opponent controls, target character that player controls gets a -1 defense this turn for each face-down resource he controls.
And this is consequential. What is Knockout's wording, please? I'm sorry.
Knockout gets +1/+1, and by that I mean -1/-1 for each face-up resource your opponents control. Return a character you control to its owner's hand. The controller of target stunned character KOs a face-up resource he controls. If he does, he puts that character face down into his resource row. Uses power only once a turn.
I think the choice is Invisible Woman, who doesn't stop their powers as I was hoping she might, but is still the right play. I did get her with losing the argument. I didn't have her otherwise. For power, she has 2 powers. Visible characters I control get +1 defense only, and you can't be the target of opposing effects. I was hoping Knockout was target player KOs a resource, but it's not. So you're going to get to do stuff, if you so choose. So,
say her power again? Sorry. How is it relevant?
I confuse things by talking about things that aren't likely. She has 2 powers. You can't be the target of opposing effects.
You.
Visible characters you control get +1 defense. And for formation, I actually think this is the correct formation. Darkseid's when he stuns someone, you give a character less defense. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I have to play this
And I did put down a resource.
I have to play this exactly right, and I hate that. I hate it. Oh, it's so close, too. Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
Why? Why is it exactly right?
It's terrifying. I don't like it.
That's not even what I thought it was. I need to be careful with that.
What powers do you question?
What are your face-up plot twists?
Liberating number 42. Whenever an Avengers character I control stuns an opposing character this turn, rarely for a character card. That was not played this turn. And losing the argument, draw 2 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your deck. And you stole my Atlantis attacks.
And she removes powers from dudes?
Spider-Man, sometimes known as She, does in fact remove powers from dudes. I can only do it once per turn, but I may do it at any time.
Any number of dudes or one dude?
Once per turn.
So one dude?
Yes, one dude or one lady. One she or one he, but he is a he.
Why is it so close?
Scary. And as a reminder, all my visible characters do have 1 defense.
I understand.
Better safe than sorry. I might do the hammiest ham that ever hammed if you give me the chance to do it. We'll see. Probably won't let me do it, but we'll see. Such ham, though. Such ham. Casey, why is your standard cut 14 cards while Ian is thinking? I'm curious as to why 14 is the magic number. You'd think 10 would be just as good, or 15. Or lucky 13, for that matter. But 14 is an interesting choice. Is that based upon a 60-card deck, I wonder? Indeed, I guess that's a reasonable point.
I guess I just got to do it and see if it works.
It is that time. I appreciate a good anti-cheating strategy, Casey. That's good.
Well, the first thing I do is I reveal that I have another Mad Harriet.
Aww.
And I pay another 1 endurance.
That's annoying.
And I replace the card that gives you the ability to draw.
Oh yeah, sorry, you get it. Yep. It is annoying, and I don't like it.
The next thing I do is I declare that I'm attacking Spider-Man with Knockout.
Indeed. I will not do anything to invalidate that attack.
The next thing that I do is I activate Apocalypse and target you.
Oh my goodness.
On this deck.
As a reminder, I can't be the target of opposing effects. Does that target me, or does it target a character?
Target, choose a player, target attacker, stuff.
No,
I don't think it targets you.
God damn it. Be useful, Invisible Woman. Okay, so you target me. I will accept.
All right. Then, I will reveal another Apocalypse, and I will activate it and target you.
What is going on? What the heck is going on over there? So your attack is currently 15.
14.
Plus
pending Apocalypse.
So it's 14, potentially as high as 19. Each. You really want to stun Spider-Man. If nothing else transpires, I will take the damages. Or I will reinforce. You will be stunned back. That's interesting. You have that awful card.
Do you have an awful card?
Yes. So what do I do about it? And can I play any differently with that knowledge? Perhaps not. Yep, that'll work. And your attack is what? Sorry.
If you do nothing, 19? It will be 19.
Boy, that is a lot of attack. That's a lot of attack. My defense is 11. I would, if I don't reinforce, that's so much breakthrough. But if I don't do it, or if I do it, there's a chance I won't be able to get Darkseid, because it's really close. That's kind of annoying.
So I'm assuming we're pausing with this effect on the on the chain.
Pardon me. We'll say the effect resolves. It's purely a question of reinforcement or not. That 1 point and that other card is ultimately not consequential in this case, the one that I was considering. So that will happen and resolve. Then you're dealing a gajillion damage. I think I have to let it happen.
I will reveal that I have a 31st Century Apocalypse. Activate. Target Darkseid's lead attacker or defender you control gets +2 attack this attack. If the character is not named Darkseid, KO it whenever it becomes stunned this attack.
You're adding more... What are you, Jameson? So your attack is 21? 21 is the attack. It's so much attack.
It's a lot of attack.
I'm going to... You stop that. I'm going to allow it. I'm not going to reinforce.
I'll take 4.
And I will take 5. Is it 15 total? I soak 21. My defense is 11. It's 10 breaking 5. It's 15. I'm at 18. I think the right play... interesting. Without anyone extra to stun, I think it's just these two. Save Kate Bishop.
What's your attack?
It is 17. Boy, I sure hope you can't get tons of defense. It'll be impressive if you do, I gotta admit, but I also kind of hope you can't.
17 I can't beat, so we'll go to the card game.
Yep, I knew you had it.
You may stun a ready defender named Darkseid you control. If you do, stun each attacker with cost less than or equal to that defender's cost.
I take 9.
Do you finish me?
No, I'm gonna attack you for 1. Definitely a good turn for you.
I'm down a resource, sir.
It's
and
true.
A character.
It's true, but boy, it was a hell of a play, and now I'm in a predicament. I guess I have initiative, which is going to be... Is that true? Yes, I do have initiative. That's going to be terrifyingly important. I'm going to... This is actually tricky. Spider-Man might be the better choice because he's really freaking useful. That's so risky. Do I save Spider-Man because he's really useful? Darkseid's power is when he stuns someone, minus defense equal to resources. Spider-Man, that's a really hard choice. I think it's... We keep invisible woman, but... Your Darkseid's really big, though. There's value. Oh, man. I don't know if I have you. We'll see if you got your big dude. Right. Interesting. My initiative. What the hell is the right choice for this mess? Man. It's my 7-drop, and her power is not useful. She's big, and characters lose and can't have reinforcement while defending against an adjacent character. I also put down a resource, of course. It's strange, it's strange, it's strange. Boy, you are making a hell of a fight of this. I'm not even remotely confident. Yeah, that's funny. I think the whole notion of cutting to prevent cheating is a smart choice, but it would be funny if you did that. Do you do that compulsively in even social situations, Casey, where you're just playing with people that you know wouldn't cheat or would have no reason to cheat, but you still sort of compulsively count the 14? That would be sort of novel.
I wish you had fewer cards in your hand. How many are there?
Cards in my hand?
Yeah.
It is exactly 7.
And what's Kate Bishop's power?
Whenever Kate Bishop stuns a defender while team attacking, reveal any number of character cards from your hand, put them on top of your deck, and stun target character if its cost is less than or equal to that number.
Pretty sure that's my undoing. That's sad.
We'll see.
I'm going to recruit Malice Wunderbar, whose power is whenever another character comes into play under my control, I may replace target face-up, non-team-up plot twist and opponent controls. And then recruit Lashina.
Oh, interesting.
Activate, target a non-ongoing plot twist and opponent controls. You may put a character card from your hand face down into his resource drawer. If you do KO that plot twist, then he loses endurance equal to its cost.
Oh, clever. So this replaces that for 3.
I am not using that power. I am using Malice Wunderbar's power.
What's her power?
When another Darkseid elite character comes into control under
right.
my play, it is just replaced.
Just replace it. Okay. Right. I actually think, unless I'm sorely mistaken, the logical choice here is to take the safest play. I guess I didn't have to fear a 7-drop because you gave a resource last turn. This whole time I'm like, oh, what am I going to do if you play 7-drop? But you did have to do that. So I think the appropriate play is probably to attack 6-cost Darkseid. It's not without risk, but I can't imagine a scenario where that isn't the right play.
That makes me very happy, because it means you don't have 6 character cards in your hand. And that's the only thing that makes this maybe a game.
Oh well, I guess that's a fair possibility. Read me no match for Darkseid again. It's stun a defending Darkseid and stun
a ready defender named Darkseid you control. If you do, stun each attacker with cost less than or equal to that defender's cost.
Right. So then the right choice probably... So if I do that attack, you can just reinforce. So the right choice is to do it with these 2.
Via Darkseid?
Via big Darkseid. Just to get that 1 extra attack out there.
Alright. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is play another Price of Treason to target you. So that's +1 attack for each face-down resource you control, and I draw a card.
Right, which is a good job. You're well ahead of my 16 defense.
Your attack is 17.
Yes.
I think I can only match it.
Oh my god. That's pretty terrifying.
Does that mean I do nothing? Probably. Stun the 7-drop and take 6.
And I will, of course, stun your 3-drop. Kate Bishop.
I'll take another 3.
Stun Kate Bishop, you say?
Yeah. No.
Oh, you
Big guy, right?
Oh, right, because you gave the...
Whenever Darkseid Elite stuns a character an opponent controls, target character that player controls gets -1 defense this turn for each face-down resource he controls.
Sure.
I think there's no point in choosing Invisible Woman, so I will choose Kate Bishop.
Indeed.
Then...
You get to wail on Kate Bishop for a lot. Jeez.
I wail on Kate Bishop for a lot.
With your 1 attack.
And Attack Kate Bishop with Malice Wunderbar. I will activate 31st Century Apocalypse.
That's 2.
And Apocalypse.
I guess I'll flip this, which says whenever an Avengers character it's another liberating or 42. It isn't going to mean squat, except it reduces the effectiveness of that card by 1.
Yep, I think that's it.
Sure. So your attack is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
I will take 10. I'm at negative 8. And then I attack you as printed, and I hope you don't have 2 more Price of Treasons.
No.
Because that would be pretty epic. Man, Darkseid is a scary deck.
12. So I would take 10 from this. I'll be at negative 15. I can't make up 7.
Can you make up any? What?
I can make up a little. Not much. Not
I'm
enough.
intrigued. Do you have, like, ping?
Oh, no. I would just boost your defense by stuff.
Oh, I see. Of course.
So you got me. So I'm at negative 15.
I will say this. I felt like I had a commanding presence, and you did pay a high price to swing it, but boy, did you swing it.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, this game, Darkseid was not unique.
Oh.
That is why I was doing crazy stuff the whole game.
I did not notice. That is interesting.
I would have been in a much better position had that been the case.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, it's very interesting because this particular deck is slightly weak to your deck because it's character heavy. And you didn't know this, but all of my other face down cards were characters.
Yeah.
So you started replacing my few that weren't, and I'm like, oh, that's real bad. You're going to get full effect on basically everything.
Lucky for me.
Man.
How about... Oh, I did have it in my hand. I drew it with that Price of Treason. The Darkseid is not unique card.
Man, that was...
it was a good game, I think.
I went from unsure at the start to starting to grow in confidence to losing all that confidence.
I had potentially 4 defense for Darkseid on that turn where I made the crazy play. Yep. So I was trying to force the reinforce, making you nervous, thinking that I could either even it up or finish you that turn, and you wouldn't do the reinforce.
I had to not do it. I mean, the whole thing was, short of actually killing me in a swing, I couldn't do it. Because I knew with your hand full of cards, and what you didn't know is I had no stat pumps at all. I'd used my only one. That's something this deck doesn't have a lot of. It has some of, but not a lot of. Which meant, if I attack you with Invisible Woman and Kate Bishop, and you can get 1 defense.
I would have needed
2. That's right, 2 defense, and that would have been game.
I did.
So
I was able to get 2.
And
that's what I was trying to force.
Yep. Totally.
Honestly, when I went to 21, I was shocked you still took it. But you still took it.
I had to take it.
It was the right choice.
Well, and the thing is, I knew you had the damn card too, but I still had to leave them, and I had to attack with everyone because I had to force you to play the card. I think that's the first time ever I forced you into playing that card. Like knowing that card was there, being like the right choice is to take 15 damage.
I really thought you were going to finish me that turn. That's what I was trying to bluff my way out of.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I made a conscious choice to eat 15 damage so that you could use no match for Darkseid, which is pretty unprecedented. It's the first time I've been kind of emotionally braced for that thing, too. But, yeesh, I mean, the end result was...
aren't you glad you played another game?
I am. I mean, that was so close that if I had not pinged you with my 7-drop with Human Torch once, you might have won anyway because our life total are 7 apart, and you could have closed it a little with like a couple of power-ups, I assume. So, and granted, it's pretty typical I'll get a ping for at least 6.
My power-up was a search that let you flip something down. which is why I was
You had to remove
I was
stuff
being
first.
careful about
Right.
when I played it, which is why I was aggressively playing the one drops from my resource row, even though my life was so low. And I actually, on the last turn,
that's right,
I had
you
another
lost your life.
one, but I was at negative.
You
and
had
couldn't
another
use it.
Mad Harriet? Oh my god. That
It
was
was a strange draw for me.
That whole game had a lot of very interesting plays. You got to use Knockout's power, and you usually talk the talk with her, and I'm terrified of her, and you don't end
I
up
don't
using
like
her.
that. You're terrified of her. You
I'm always
talk
ter-
with her.
Well, yeah, I talk her own, but
And
she
it's a
did her
good
thing.
power, yeah.
Like, it's...
Well, it's the worst situation for Knockout because Knockout is... I played my early game well and have some dudes sitting around,
Right.
and I use those to
Right.
power her. In this game, I missed 1 and 2, so it's like
Right.
the only play I got is my 3-drop, and then I'm stuck with just Knockout.
But there's a catch, which is... I would argue that wasn't the worst situation in the sense that there's two ways in which her power is useful.
Eliminating Human Torch is so crucial.
Well, you get a key drop, but like really, I think that game illustrated the second time when her case is so useful, which is if you have initiative on evens, you are set up and positioned very well to rubber band back in a little bit because you get a stun with your other character. It doesn't matter that they get stunned in the process because basically you get 2 characters stunned and I get 2 characters stunned, and you get to remove my big one and you lose your.
Here's
little
her
one.
weakness, which you miss, and you missed this game. You actually misplayed it on the turn she was out.
Oh, interesting.
I can't use her power if you don't flip anything.
Well, I actually did account for that. I couldn't get her without flipping stuff. So what was going to happen if I didn't go for it is you attack with her clean and I reinforce, and I only take 1 damage, and I don't lose any characters except you've actually stunned 2 of my characters. The key was that if I'd had initiative on evens, I would have been fine. But because you had initiative, and because I couldn't get the stun without flipping stuff, the right choice was to have you lose Human Torch, because the alternative is I used Kate Bishop, who I had determined at that point was going to be as valuable as Human Torch in the long run.
That play was crucial.
It
was
was
so bad. That's extra stun, and then
Oh.
I was worried about it the rest of the game.
Yep.
I can't believe you didn't have it that turn. I really thought you would.
So I did, but I was afraid of another no match for Darkseid.
Well, it doesn't matter. So, okay, if you did, then that was a terrible misplay. If you did, you attack with Invisible Woman and her versus my 2-drop, and you stun my 6-drop, and then you swing with your big character.
use. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right.
That's a huge
You're
swing.
right. That was a dirt play. Okay.
I thought
you convinced me.
I was convinced I lost that game by playing
No.
small drops.
That's interesting. You're right, because you can't use no match for Darkseid on anyone but Darkseid.
Right.
So I team attack the weenie and go for Darkseid. Yeah.
I
I
have
guess
another one anyway, but still, yeah. Like,
You know,
just
I'll-
remove Darkseid, which is my only reasonable character from the board.
it's funny. I mean, I think this was a sleepy thing, but the reason I effed that up was because I made an incredibly stupid assumption prior to that, which was clearly you're only going to recruit another Darkseid, and it will be 7-drop Darkseid. There were 2 things wrong with that
There were
assessment.
2 things wrong now. Now, one of them was subtle, so I
Yes.
will give you that. You
Yes.
could not have known, like,
Right.
at any moment I could have flipped
Sure.
something that made Darkseid not unique. But I certainly couldn't have... And you know what? I spent, I'd say, 30 seconds at the beginning of that turn wondering how I was going to get through the turn with just my 7-drop Darkseid.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, wait.
Oh, no.
I can't do that. No. And it actually might have been a better situation. Like, I would have carried
Maybe.
the 6-drop and put the 7-drop out there.
The 7-1 pings, right?
He
pings.
pings. He's got huge defense.
Yeah.
I had more stuff that could give him more defense.
Jeez.
So, it would
I
have
mean,
been...
if
yeah.
you'd had 7-drop Darkseid...
You should have had that game hands down. Then.
Yeah, you're right. That was a misplay. So then, when you didn't recruit Darkseid, I'm like, well, I can't team attack because you're just going to no match for Darkseid.
Right, I see.
Which was it's an
yeah,
you're
no,
right.
I
mean,
understand the thinking. Yeah.
We're post 11, and it's, it is our 4th game.
Everything changed on 9/11.
Everything changed on 9/11.
We're always waiting for no match for Darkseid.
That card is so terrifying. I'm afraid of it even when I'm not attacking Darkseid and you can't play it. And I mean, it is a testament to Darkseid's powerful stat manipulation that I'm sitting in dread that whole time because, I mean, freak it, because I know I can't flip stuff. Also, I'm like, price for treasons, you're getting 6 attack per, and I can't stop it. So even that final attack.
Well, you could have known I didn't have Price of Treasons in your last attack because I didn't target Invisible Woman with Darkseid's power. which I absolutely would have had I had another one.
Okay, sure. I guess that's true. Because he gets the stun and you can fire the power and you do it there. I guess that's true. Because that's more damage if you get her stunned. That's fair. But I can't think. I was not thinking well.
It means I get both.
Totally.
Right?
Well, I mean,
so I get a big attack through, and then I get maybe the
counter.
Oh no,
it's using it here on Kate Bishop is only getting you 2 extra damage.
Right.
A guaranteed stun with 2 extra damage. We're using it on Invisible Woman as 6 extra. So it's not even about the stuns; it's just the damage differential. You're right. That's the clear choice. But I mean, to equalize the life the way you did have to lose a resource to try and force that play. But it was. I think there were a lot of interesting plays that game. It was a very interesting game.
I understood that even if I wasn't forcing the reinforce, our lives totals, which you were so ahead on life at that point, it was going to make it within spitting distance.
Yeah, and that's what you... And with Darkseid, it's real scary, and especially if you had... I mean... And here's the thing with Kate Bishop, is usually I get one big play with her, but she was a continual threat, even as that weenie, because I'd done something I very rarely do, which is I had earlier in the game crossed a successful critical mass for Rally.
Right.
And I had my 7 drop. So that meant I got lucky on my 6 drop. Because remember, I didn't have it. I didn't have it on the draw, and I played losing the argument and got her on the second.
You know
card.
what? I think you would have won that turn if you recruited Spider or recruited
Torch.
Yep.
Maybe. I mean, I could have pinged for 7.
Like, you having a 12-12 with, like, a mediocre power was the best thing that happened to me that turn.
I mean, the other variable is she does have flight and range, and I was a little worried that no flight would be an issue. And the thing is, here was my scenario. Because it was your initiative, if I ping you with Human Torch, that was going to be my only damage that turn. Because then I have to activate him to do it. Mm. So you open by hitting Spider-Man.
Right, that's my play, of course.
Right, you take out Spider-Man, and then I just can't do anything.
My concern is what the counterplay is. So I would open hitting Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Probably with... It's hard to say who with whom. Probably with Knockout still.
Yeah, take care, Casey. You have a good night.
Yeah, good night, Casey. Thanks for sticking around. My concern is then you do a team attack with Kate Bishop and try to get 2 of my characters.
Right. So, I mean, and what's interesting about Bishop...
She's awful. I don't like her.
Oh, she's awful.
She's easy to underestimate. Like, I ignored her all game, and then it's like, oh.
She's doing awful, scary things. The funny thing is, if you don't cross that critical mass...
I need to pay attention, because the rally bugged me. I probably should have stunned her a couple of times earlier.
Maybe.
Made you choose...
I mean...
Like...
It's tough
Patriot's
to say.
not... I hate that you get a bunch of cards, but Patriot's not the threat in that pairing.
Well, sort of. They work together, because what's so important is if I don't rally big time with like a liberating number 42 and Patriot, then I'm actually down card draw. Like if I burn through if I don't have enough rally to mitigate her power, then when I use her
but it's
power...
still a one-shot big swing.
It's a one-shot, but I got to do it like 2 or 3 times that game.
Crumbs up your draw.
Exactly. And so I had the right cards to do it, and I also had enough rally to sustain it. So usually she's only a liability, but when I hit turn 4, and turn 4 was the linchpin turn where you made me make a very, very... You actually put me in a lot of difficult positions, but the 2 biggest difficult positions were your monstrous attack, which I think is the more obvious difficult position, no less difficult for its obviousness, but the other one was the turn with knockout and, was it Guillotina? And it was... I knew that the way I had to play it was going to cost me Human Torch. But I had to keep Kate Bishop. Because I was going to have to lose one or the other.
Right.
And I might as well make you also lose a character. And that meant that the one I was going to lose was... I had to make you use your power. Because the other way, I don't get a counter stun. You get to keep Guillotina and Knockout, and I still have to lose one of my 2 critical characters. So, because I had Patriot and her... And I had my high drops already, so mucking up my draw wasn't the end of the world if push came to shove. I still was going to make my drops, so the right call was to keep her around as this little... She's such a damage liability, but every time I have initiative, it's a huge deal. And she still sits there as a liability, even on my initiative. Like, if you get ahead of me on characters, Even if I get 2 years, if you have the third and left, you can swing through her because she's super low stats. So she's always that little liability. But also similar to kinetics in that she's like, you have to address her. And if I have enough firepower left on the board, sometimes you're going to have to prioritize her to prevent those plays.
Darkseid doesn't have much flight, which is a problem.
I was very aware of that game. I forget even how much I formed to it, but I was always consciously thinking,
In fact, I don't think Darkseid has any flight.
Might have not. I mean, he doesn't need it.
He does okay.
I don't want a flying Darkseid.
He's not a bad dude. He makes out okay.
Well, he's a pretty bad dude.
Bad dude. Right.
But yeah, it was interesting, and that's where I ended up in weird situations where it was more advantageous for me to actually have Kate Bishop exposed and to have Patriot as the reinforcer, because I needed my other characters to be rallying, and if you go for Kate Bishop, I need to make it so that if you go for her, it's so not painful for me that it's actually painful for you.
Right.
Like to have to do that big attack, and I'll take one.
Yeah. I couldn't. Well, the difference is I missed 1 and 2, so I never could afford the extra Kate Bishop attack. Like, and I'm not going to use my big attackers on reinforceable Kate Bishop.
Yep. It seems like a bad idea on paper. It's interesting. That'll be a very.
It's one of those where, like, you read her power. It was not in my head until you did it.
I think I surprised you with it once, and then you were kind of aware of it for the rest. But
I'm sure next time I won't remember it again.
It's probably true. I'll read it as best I can. It's a very interesting.
Well, it's not totally your fault in any way.
No. Yeah. It's true. It's interesting. I think
my responsibility to remember what's on the board or ask if I don't.
Sure, that's fair. But we're all tired, and it is what it is.
All right. Speaking of, we should wrap it up.
We should.
I don't think there's anybody here, but thanks for watching us on YouTube.
Yep.
And we're off next week. Is that right?
That's correct, and then we should be back the week after that.
So I guess I'll be doing some. I will prep for this. It's good to talk about it. I'll be doing some streaming of video games. The video game I'm streaming is Dungeon Mans. That's
Dungeon Mans.
I will make the effort this weekend or next week sometime to review the video, because I think it's been about 2 months since I've played. I will remind myself how to play the game.
That's a good plan.
Or maybe if I'm feeling uppity, I'll play some Dead Cells, because I've been talking about that for a long time. Although if I put off Dungeon Mans again, it's likely that it's
that's the end of Dungeon Mans.
Getting back into. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night. Let's leave before it's too late.